Hello, and welcome to another week of the Abuse Cartoons live stream. I'm trying to get everything out of the way here. Hold on a second. All right. There we go. Let's try to get everything out of the shot. Jesus. As poorly executed as ever. All right. Well, back again for another week. If I can make this microphone work. There we go. Okay. So hopefully that sounds okay. Let me know in the chat if there's something going on with the sound. And again, I've still got a filthy green screen. I think I need a light behind me. I'm going to have to figure that out. Because... yeah, it's looking pretty filthy. But, alright. Oh, so is this last week's? Oh, there we go. So what's going on here? I've got a chat that's not chatting. So, what did I do wrong here? Okay, so let me open the chat. I think I've got an old instance of the chat going on. So strange. Okay, wait a minute. This is starting out very poorly. Okay, where's the chat? Where's the chat? Oof. So, yeah, I've got an instance of the chat, but I think it's not... it's not what's happening right now, because I see chat, and it's not there. So what is this? Hey, K5, how's it going? There we go. Okay, so what am I seeing here? This is really bizarre. Why am I doing this so poorly? There we go. Okay, there we go. Hey, Joe. Hey, Cat Queen. How's it going? Yeah, for some reason, this chat I have open is just fantasy. I don't know what it is. Nice. Hey, some empty friend. You made it at the beginning. Yes. A little bit late, so that works out. Great to see everybody, and sorry for the rough start here. The microphone was not in the right place, but yeah, good to see everyone. All right, there we go. Oh yeah, right. I need to study those green screen streams more carefully. Yeah, I see people with just like a piece of green fabric thrown behind them. It's all a mess. It's not even very smooth, and they get a really clean image. Yeah, look at this. My hand has got a weird black halo. Yeah, I think it's just the weird way that this room is lit, because it's got it's weird overhead like recessed light, and then I've got a huge softbox here. So this is lit, but actually, like by the time you get here, see how dark it is? Yeah, so I don't know. Either the green screen needs to be closer, or I need to light me behind it. All right. Anyhow, enough of that. So the movie this week is The Lighthouse, which was insane. It was excellent. I'd seen The Witch before, the director's previous movie, and really liked that. It has a there's a lot of similarities between kind of the approach to the film, and yeah, both are really good. And this was really interesting, black and white, and shot in kind of 4:3, so like a square, so it looks like an older film. And yeah, so good stuff. So we'll get to that later, but first let me see if I can draw something. Yeah, definitely. I got shadows creeping in behind me here that I've got to deal with. Yeah, and I don't know, the way that I'm doing the green. I got a couple of the lights and things I can try. I think I'll do that, because I don't want to have to light myself, because I'm almost translucent with this bright light overhead. I tried to bring it down a little bit with the gamma setting, but I don't know. So I was thinking next week, for next week's film, how about, I mean, I know we've been doing like kind of art house films and kind of, yeah, stuff that's a little bit more cerebral and kind of visceral and psychedelic and things. But I was thinking for next week, how about the Snyder Cut? Because I know that just released. I gotta get my my VPN fired up. But a look at the Snyder Cut might be fun. So I'm not sure, it's Justice League and superheroes. I'm not sure that's much of a crowd pleaser, but I'm really curious about it, and I'm really curious about why it even happened. So it'll be interesting to see the results. But I guess there was they did a Donner cut. The director that was originally working on the first Superman movies, they did, or he I guess was consulted for a cut of his Superman 2, because I think he was they filmed 1 and 2 at the same time. Didn't finish 2, and then he was kind of kicked off the project when they brought in Richard Lester, and then Richard Donner never got to finish everything for Superman 2. So there was a Donner cut of Superman 2. So it's not unprecedented that people get thrown off of superhero movies and their original ideas are trashed. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a yes, eye patch. Nice. Yeah, Willem Dafoe. Yeah, both the actors. I mean, the crazy thing about that movie is it's 2 actors in one place. I mean, there's a few other bit parts, very small appearances, but it's 2 actors in one set, which are basically a little volcanic island with a lighthouse on it, and it's insane that they carry the movie. The camera, doesn't really go anywhere. There's just a couple of different places that it is, and it's just the acting. So it's a real huge proof of both of their abilities. And I wouldn't think Pattinson would. I mean, it's amazing that he has become so much a better actor. Yeah, Robert Pattinson's performance is amazing, and and accent. He holds his New England accent well too, which, with all the screaming and insanity in that movie, is quite a compliment. Because it's the first thing that happens is someone that doesn't have a good hold of their accent, once they have to emote and really do something that put some emotion in their voice, they can't kind of methodically make those sounds and mouth shapes, and they lose their accent pretty quickly. But pretty impressive. And I really like the director. I think he's going to be doing good stuff. All right. I'm kind of... the film is kind of bleeding in. Film talk is bleeding in. We'll save it for later. But, yes, I'm thinking that maybe the Snyder Cut would be fun for next time. Sorry. Whoa. Sorry, I keep showing that wonderful fantasy. So that desktop that I have is Paul Bonner, is he Scandinavian? Illustrator that does a bunch of fantasy stuff, and I found an archive of a bunch of high-res scans of his stuff. So yeah, that's what keeps popping up. Those dinosaurs keep popping up. And he did a lot of really good back in the 90s, late 80s and 90s, a lot of good fantasy illustration for a lot of sci-fi and fantasy games. Yeah, so the revival it's kind of happening with Swedish RPGs. His art is all over it because he produced a lot of stuff back in the day. So it's really cool to see his work again. All right. So yeah, so we'll think about it as we get to the end of the movie segment, what we should do for next week. But that was the first thing I thought, is I want an excuse to watch that. Otherwise, I may not get motivated to jump through the necessary hoops to actually be able to see that. And I loved how right before that was finished, HBO Now, the streaming service that has it, got rid of their free trial. They said, "Oh, everyone's going to sign up for a free trial, watch the Justice League Snyder Cut, and then delete, then cancel their membership. So let's get rid of the free trial and make some money." Oh, that's right, St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, I can definitely. We can get some green beer or something going on. All right. Yeah, that's right. I completely forgot. That's the time of year we're in. Yeah, living in Chicago. I mean, if you're in Boston or Chicago or any any place with a decent Irish American contingency, yeah, that is an event. You can watch a lot of drunk people and green beer vomit all over the street. Yeah, I wonder. Chicago did that thing too, where they what do you call it? They colored the river. They dyed the river green, so boats would and I think they disclosed like what it was, so it wasn't anything too chemical or toxic. I think it was pretty natural what they did, and it dissipated pretty easily. But yeah, Chicago would color the Chicago River green, and they would also have a big parade. They have a huge St. Patrick's Day parade with a green Chicago River. Poor Chicago. Uh, all right, those actually I can probably do in a different color. It's gonna be a little much. I'll just put these on another layer for now. Yeah, I don't think those need to be. Those can be white to look like cut glass. Nice. Ah, St. Patrick's Day. That's the so. What is the story? St. Patrick chased all the snakes out of Ireland. So I think it's a mostly Irish American drinking holiday. It's basically yeah, you just go get. It's not really for kids or anything, but it's kind of just Irish American pride, because if you don't know the history of America, the Irish were not particularly welcomed. They were welcomed as a labor force, but they weren't particularly treated well when they immigrated to the U.S. And so there would be, "Hey Sedona, how's it going?" So there would be signs that would say, that help wanted, no blacks, no Irish. So the racism and kind of prejudices of America, and I guess it's just the British existing British bias. America just carried that over. So yeah, St. Patrick's Day. I should read. I should read up on it, but just my basic knowledge of St. Patrick's Day is like an Irish pride holiday. Like they have the Puerto Rican Day Parade and things in New York. It was just a way to for Irish Americans to kind of claim some identity and some pride, because they had a real rough start. Kind of assimilating into America. And I think that's why a lot of Irish, there's a lot of Irish police officers and things, because like early 19th century America, being a police officer was easily the worst job. They would, like, if you've ever seen that Gangs of New York film, I'm not sure like the date, that must be like mid 19th century. But the police officers would literally wear metal collars, and I don't think they didn't carry firearms, so they just had clubs and things more similar to the British style of police officers. But they would wear these metal collars because they would get their throats slit so often that it was protection from the gangs coming up behind them and cutting their throats. So yeah, so a lot of Irish went into being cops and firemen and stuff because they were really rough jobs, but that was a good way to kind of assimilate, like become a part of the society. So that's where that stereotype, the kind of Irish accented police officer stereotype, like beat cop kind of stereotype, comes from from like vaudeville or whatever. All right. Yeah, and it's yeah, Joe. Yeah, you can just go, comma, Italians, comma, yeah, I'm sure, Greeks, comma, Albanians, comma, yeah, sure. America, it did not let anybody, everyone was hazed heavily to become part of that melting pot. It was a brutal melt, a brutal pot. And it's still, I think now everything is not, the heating pot's been, or the melting pot has been turned off for a while, and everything is just starting to separate again. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, but famously, there were like, no Irish signs in store windows in the U.S., so that was all part of it. And I think, because the reputation that the Irish had from the British, and also the circumstances, which the like potato famine and things like that. They were literally very desperate refugees, and so America loves to take advantage of that. So, yeah, but yeah, I hope that answers your question. Just Irish pride, and I'm not sure. I think it's a thing in Ireland, but not to the extent. Just the same like Halloween is so overblown in the U.S. compared to other countries. St. Patrick's Day, I think, is the scale of it is much more American. And the role that it serves, but I think it's Ireland. Like, I don't know if it's celebrated. I have no idea. I don't have any. I just remembered it being one of those things. American. We don't we're not so into it. It's a thing, but all right. Nice. Hi, Trumvita. How's it going? So, I think we're drawing some green beer. Yeah, and because it's a drinking holiday. T-shirts and stickers and everything is the slogan I remember as a kid is everything is "Kiss me, I'm Irish." So there's probably a lot of drunken making out going on. Everyone trying to get their Irish kisses in. All right, so green beer. What's a good? Or just maybe just not green beer. We can have a prejudiced beer glass. All right. Yeah, St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, I completely forgot. Yeah, there's no. I'm sure there are, because there's pubs here. There's a lot of gaijin bars that theme themselves as pubs, so there probably is some St. Patrick's Day going on. Oof. In Japan, but very minor, just the same way that all like expats like kind of have their lame little Thanksgivings and things over here, just to fight the homesickness. All right, that is, I don't know about this. Maybe a little bit better over here, but. Yeah, I've got a little Irish. I'm probably like an eighth, like kind of my mother always said like Scotch Irish, so I think a lot of immigrants just stopped keeping track, because my grandmother's maiden name is McCautry, which, yeah, I'm not sure if that's M-A-C or M-C, but yeah, my mother always just said Scotch Irish. Which is a very American way to just kind of group two very separate countries together, very separate cultures and countries together. But something like that. All right, so yeah, let's try something kind of more minimal here. Where's this box? There we go. For the holiday. Oh, maybe some... maybe like a coaster, like a beer coaster with a... Oh, yeah, I don't want to do that kind of 3D thing, so I'll just freehand it. Maybe I'll put a shamrock on it or something. Yeah, that I might not freehand. Maybe I'll grab one from the images of Google. All right, let's try this again. soggy beer coaster. Yeah, so we're getting an early spring this year, it looks like. But we're also getting I think I was complaining last week, a brutal hay fever season, a brutal allergy season. So I have no idea why the trees hate us so much this year. Alright. Yeah, but it'll be nice. There'll be no heavy tourism. So, yeah, that works as a coaster. Alright, so let me fetch something that I can fake as a shamrock. So it doesn't just look like a green blob. Alright. Yeah, something like that. Make it a little blurry too. Oh, no. Didn't want to do it. Try one more time here. Yeah, my little 3-month. Oh, there it is. It's just tiny. Okay, so let's just take this out. Get rid of this. And fake a little perspective here. Maybe just distort. Hopefully it's a little more readable than my messy, free-handed shamrock would have been. Yeah, something like that. That almost reads. Yay. Completely unlicensed image. Alright. Oh, let me bring the chat back up. I don't know why it's not working this time. Oh, yeah, Joe. Yeah, that was an OBS thing. And I could have caught that. Yeah, so sorry. So Joe got to watch a wonderful live stream where halfway through, I think I'm like frozen like this, and the audio continued, but the video froze. Yeah, I'm using a cam link, the Elgato cam link, just that little dongle kind of pull out thing, to put the HDMI into OBS, the video from HDMI. And sometimes, I think I'm up to date. I'll update OBS again, but sometimes it just doesn't like that. It's really hard to get that video actually to show up, and sometimes it'll just freeze. And it froze, and because I was watching, I had like 3 things that I had to watch, plus the notes for the, for the discussion. So the notes are on my phone, and I've got 3 monitors, and I didn't notice that in the OBS window, the video hadn't moved in like 20 minutes. So the audio survived, but there was no video. And I didn't record. I wasn't recording video. Hey, Rev, how's it going? So, yeah, it was just crashed in OBS, but I could have restarted it. If I would have had like a wireless mouse on that table, I could have just stopped and started the video. The stream would have been going the whole time. Just that element of video would have been stuck for a few seconds, but I didn't notice it. So it was stuck, and there's nothing to recover. So the audio works. So we'll just go with that. But there's nothing to recover as far as video, so it's lost, and that's going to be the risk of doing that as a live stream instead of recording it. But the whole idea was to cut down the production work on that stream. So yeah. So check out the Idle Red Hands, which may be changing soon. I think we're going to rename that podcast because some of the original members of the podcast may want to do something else with it. So I might be renaming that gaming channel and trying to kind of, do a new, do kind of a rebranding of it so I have more control. And it kind of, and it reflects more of like what I want to do with it. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah. So yeah, and where we record that is the office where I was before. So when I was first live streaming, if you watch the live stream before the event, before the bad weather of the pandemic. I was that's where I recorded from before, when I had the shelves behind me and you could see like a little bit of, and I had the traffic cam and stuff. So that was the office. So I still have that. I still have that space, and I use it for the weekly recording. And eventually, I want to use it for kind of build it out as more of a studio. The only problem is that that road is that highway going by is pretty noisy, so I'm gonna have to figure out some soundproofing, which I'm sure will be plenty expensive. Yeah, because if I don't know, because the windows aren't double glazed, so that the sound comes right through the windows, and for some reason the kind of metal frame of that building vibrates any truck or anything on that road. The whole building kind of like hums with the noise of the road traffic. So yeah, I'll have to figure. That might not be the best location, but maybe. That's the plan so far. All right, so we've got all of this, and yeah, I guess size-wise, I guess that's okay. So that'll be our St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, so I've just, since I got set up here and I'm able to live stream and do all the production work here, I've just been working from home a lot more, just to stay off the trains when they do the lockdowns and stuff. And so there's less reason. I mean, it's a good way, good location to be able to meet people, to do interviews and work, and like that collaboration of that weekly podcast works out, because that's just person I do it with, that's just their lunch break. So they just come, because their office is like just a couple blocks over. So they come for lunch, and then we record, as much as we can within that lunch hour. And I turned it into a live stream because it was getting behind. The production for it was taking too much time. I don't know what I'm doing that for. So I just started to make it a live thing, and Joe got to watch the technical disaster. Nice. Oh yeah, street cam. Yeah, all I have is a stairs cam now, and I think today is not the best day. There's nobody walking by. Like, if I should switch the live stream to Sundays, because because there's a temple at the top of the mountain. There's so many people walking up and down. That would be a very entertaining view, because it's a lot of elderly people, and it's just stairs. It's just, now that they replaced all the stairs with more modern, kind of cut stone stairs. There's a handrail and everything now, so it's very simple, a simple set of stairs. But the old people come decked out in like a couple $1,000s worth of like outdoor gear, and they've got those climbing poles, and they look like ski poles. The kind of so so they've got all of this like Patagonia or North Face or all this like expensive outdoor gear on, and it's all matching, and they're like in groups. They're walking up the stairs with and previously, when the stairs were like the couple 100-year-old stairs, they were rough and very uneven, so that may have been the reason for the climbing gear. And once you get up there, there are paths that are cut into the side of the mountain where you can go up to a shrine that's actually like in an alcove in the side of the mountain. So maybe they're saving all that equipment for them. But it looks so funny, people walking stairs and like, mountain climbing gear. There's a lot of those people, but a lot of pilgrims. And I think I already talked about, so that temple is kind of, they have some events which are good for, prosperity. So if you have a small business, or, your family business or something that you want to pray for success, that's a location for that. But it's also a temple for vices or weaknesses. So a lot of people go there to pray to quit smoking, and a lot of people will leave their cigarettes there. It's kind of an offering, or as a motivation. So you see packs of cigarettes left there because people prayed to break the addiction. So prosperity and bad habits, I guess, are the reason people go to that specific temple. And each temple is kind of has its own has its own kind of god, its own little, modified deity, and so that means it has the favors you're asking for or whatever are a little bit different at each of the shrines. So there's kind of, like love shrine, like, if you want to get married, there's certain shrines to go to. If you want to have a baby, there's certain places to go to that are specifically, the person you're talking to, the deity you're talking to, that's their speciality. So even though like Buddhism is like, centered on the Buddha, they have kind of a pantheon of other minor, and I'm sure other people know a lot more about this than I do, but it's not a monotheistic religion as much as it's got like lower levels of, smaller favors, kind of like the saints, like in Catholicism, the saint, there'll be a specific saint that you pray to for certain needs. It's similar to that. But so the temples are dedicated to, the Buddhist equivalent of different saints, but they were never real people. Whereas the saints claim to, have been. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people would have walked up to. I think it's one of the older. This whole side of Japan is older. Is where all the older, like most original occurrences of Shinto and Japanese Buddhism occurred. So tourism, if you want to see the kind of religious sites of Japan, this side of the country, and Nara was the first capital. The city that I'm closest to was the original capital city of Japan during the Nara era. Yeah, so that was I was trying to make it's probably like a false equivalency, but like the Bodhisattva or whatever in Buddhism, the more minor deities, I think the equivalent in Catholicism would be saints. Yeah. But so that's why they kind of specialize. But yeah, so I wonder what the closest equivalent to Saint Patrick is in Japan. I think there are like celebration. There are kind of gods of celebration, but I don't know if they have they probably have some sort of festival, based around their shrine or their temple. Yeah, because they have all kinds of very specialized stuff and very odd festivals, and I think a lot of things in Japan. I think the reason that I just made this connection now, but I don't think I ever made this connection before. I think the reason that Japanese are such good tourists is because Japan, especially the main island of Japan, was always heavily encouraging domestic tourism, like ever since Edo period Japan. So there were ways to travel, roads to travel between famous cities, and those cities there would be sightseeing, kind of like how you have the largest ball of yarn, or a house shaped like a shoe or whatever, like a kind of roadside attractions in the US to get people to take car holidays and go and see what's that famous drugstore out west, but things like that. So Japan had a lot of that, and they had like regional food and things to attract people to come visit those places. But then they also had festivals, very specific or very, kind of, I don't know, kind of gimmicky. That a lot of festivals had a gimmick to attract people, and some kind of spectacle or some event that they would do. And I think a lot of that had to do with kind of domestic tourism, is getting people to visit and stay at the inns and buy the souvenirs and stuff. So culturally, Japan has had a long, habit, a long tradition of tourism. And then once they realized, and once, airfare became more affordable, international airfare, it became cheaper to travel internationally than it was to travel domestically in Japan because of the cost of living and everything. So that's why, like in the 80s, the Japanese became such popular international tourists. But I think that comes from a culture of always kind of being seduced to, come to different places just within Japan, because they always are talking about, local dishes and local things. So we have a little bit of that in the U.S. as far as different states are famous for different things. So go to this state for apples and go to this state for barbecue or whatever. Yeah. So similar kind of thing. But back in the day, you were walking. So thank God the country wasn't so big, because you were going to walk wherever you needed to go. But yeah, I just made that connection. But that makes a lot of sense, because I heard so much about that, and I think the temples and the shrines served as points of tourism. Because they still do, even for foreigners. So that's a big part of what made the Japanese such good tourists internationally. But I don't know what the camera thing is all about. Alright, see if I can do this. Something that looks like a school lunch tray. Yeah, I was talking school lunches with a student just recently. I'm just curious about and I don't even remember. It's been so long. Maybe like 3 compartments. It's been so long since I've had or even seen an American school lunch. And the only ones I would have seen would have been California schools. Alright. I think this will work. Something like this. Yeah, just make sure the half-ass perspective stays a little bit intact. Yeah, hopefully I can make that not look so cavernous. Oh, a Sonic statue. Wow. I have not. I'm sure there is, because there's a lot of big statues of famous manga characters and things that they use to attract people. There's big robots. There's Tetsugo. What's the big? I think he was Johnny Sacco. It was Johnny Sacco and the Giant Robo. Giant Robo, I think, was the American TV name for it, but it was Tetsujin. I forget the number. It's like the Metal Man, some number, and there's a big statue of him like punching at the sky in where is it, Kobe or something? Yeah, there's a lot of like weird statues like that, but I haven't heard of the Sonic. I'm sure though, like Sega would definitely have licensed something like that for promotion. And where is Sega based? I think they're a Tokyo company, because there's only like 2 or 3, like on this side of the country. There's only Nintendo, Capcom, and Platinum, I think. Those are the only big game studios. In Western Japan, everything else is in Tokyo. So yeah, that would make sense that some part of Japan had a big Sonic statue. I can look up. I can't remember. I haven't seen it though. Oh, there is. Yeah. Yeah, he's not very big though. He's in... Where is he? In 2015, they found a larger-than-life statue in Mie. So it's not too far from here. Yeah, in the country hills of Mie, so about 90 minutes east of Osaka. So that's not far from here. It's probably like an hour train ride from here. But it's not huge. Let's see if I can find a... It's not the biggest statue, but yeah, it looks like in one of the in one of the logging areas like the one in the forest. There's a, it looks like he's wearing out already too. Look at his blue is kind of fading. Maybe like tree sap or something is discoloring him. But yeah, there is a Sonic statue somewhere in Mie. So yeah, it's pretty small because there's a human. There's a person for scale, and it's so he's bigger than a hedgehog. Bigger than a hedgehog, but not exactly. Yeah, here's a motorcycle for scale. Yeah, so somebody just like built a fiberglass Sonic and put it in the forest somewhere. So yeah, maybe like along some certain like kind of rural highway or something, you'll come across it. So Joe, you are correct. There is a Sonic statue. Yep. Oh, cool. Yeah, it may be because they do kind of pop up in temporary amusement parks in Japan. So somebody may have like salvaged it. You know, maybe one of the crews that was set to demolish the park. Somebody just like put it on their truck and drove it out to the country. Hey how's it going? Yeah. So yeah, it's very there could be some random mysterious things like that. But I would imagine, yeah, because they've done all kinds of random things. I think there was like in like a Pac-Man amusement park and just all kinds of random. And there's been some temporary Pokemon parks too, so I'm sure they build characters for that. And then when it's time to take them down, yeah, they may or may not salvage them. So maybe this was one of those things. It kind of looks like it was, meant to be on top of a roller coaster or something, like some kind of advertisement or some kind of sign. A character for some sort of ride in a park. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Oh, cool. Nice. But it is a thing. Yes, Joe, you were correct. Yeah, I bet somebody with big love for the character either made it or salvaged it from someplace. Yeah, I'll look up a little more of the history later. Yeah, I wonder how much of that stuff. There probably is some pretty wacky. I mean, depending on how old you want to go, but there's probably some pretty interesting, old kind of tourism-based attractions here. And it's looking a little weird, isn't it? Let me see if I can save it with a distort without ruining the lines too much. Yeah, there we go. It's looking a little better. Something like that. And it's a little deep though, isn't it? Oh, wait. The new Photoshop. Yeah. Make it look not so cavernous. All right. That's right, Yum. You get a 5-minute penalty for every missed week. Yeah, so, was Mandy last week? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. That's right. The Mandy discussion. And I wasn't, I didn't get blocked or anything. Played a little trailer in the window from IMDb and nothing happened. Alright, so I think I actually did a couple of paper bags over here. Did I? Yeah. I don't know if these are worth bringing over. Let's see. They may style-wise not be very good. And let's put this back. So as I can remember to put those lines on the mug. Maybe just do this for now. All right. Yeah, I don't think these are gonna match well. Yeah, just was thinking about, because of that discussion, I was thinking about the contrast between the brown bag and the hot, the hot school lunch, the cafeteria lunch. I forget what we even called it. So I remember it being called hot lunch for some reason. But it's probably, just the school lunch, the hot school lunch. So, that's not on the screen. That's on the tablet. Yes, I didn't get, I think that was a Facebook thing. So that was a Zuckerberg invention. Or no, that's right. No, it was YouTube. That's right. Yeah, no, my strikes. That's right. The copyright claims were coming from Facebook, but the actual Susan got me on the killing my stream. That's right. I was getting confused. Yeah, but the so I guess Facebook is pretty sensitive, but they also, if you dispute the claim, they're pretty easy with letting it go. All right, so what's going on? I don't know if I want to use this or not. Okay, it should be solid. All right, yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's really weird. I mean, multi-streaming is probably a bad idea because you're hitting so many different sensitivities, like so many, because Twitch doesn't, isn't so sensitive. And I guess because they don't have, they just have people like playing like Russian pornography on live streams, but they don't have the people trying to, pirate movies or stream like live stream TV shows and stuff. Probably the same way. Yeah, who was that? One of the streamers that left Twitch, somebody like took over their channel, just put porn on it. I forget who that was. Do I just want it to be an empty tray? No, I think it should be something. Yeah, let me do a layer of mysterious lunch items. Maybe not so huge, huh? And what is this, a cookie, perhaps? Some kind of meatloaf. And nothing too complicated. Oh, maybe more along the lines of tater tots. All right. Something like that. Okay, so let's try this. So various food. Hope these are all closed. Yep. All right. So there's some lunch on the school lunch. Actually, for that tray, then I don't need. I think I need this because it's not gonna show up. All right. So there we go. Yeah, I was thinking school lunch, but it does look more like a TV dinner, doesn't it? Yeah, what makes it look more like a school lunch? Oh, and actually, I'm missing the slot for the silverware, right? Wasn't there like a little kind of long vertical slot to put your silverware in? That's what's probably killing it too. It might be better to do it a little wider. Hmm. Well, if I, depending on the color, I think I can make it read like a plastic tray. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We might have to change direction with this one. All right. Let's try the paper bag color first. Yeah. Yeah, so something, maybe like a weird blue or something. So that it doesn't read quite so... Yeah, I remember like weird... Oh, that's a little bit too bright. Something with a little age to it. Yeah, there we go. Oh. Yeah, it's actually looking more like an airplane meal, isn't it? Oh, and I think there's two kinds of potatoes. I think that's mashed potatoes and tater tot. Nice. Oh, we'll see. It doesn't have to be completely accurate. All right. Let's see here. Nose. So that can be something, maybe something cheesy looking. Nice. Yeah, I can barely remember anything very wonderful about school lunches, like anything that I had fond memories of. All I remember is the pizza was a rectangle. So they probably just cooked it in giant sheets. Oh, but then, of course, then it also fit in the tray. Right. That's why it was rectangular. Yeah, I think you're right, Joe. I'm hoping that, yeah, the coloring will make it work better. Yeah, that's kind of a tater tottery color. And then maybe some chocolate chippy color. There we go. It's a very bland looking lunch. But I think they mostly were. I don't remember anything looking all that great. Yeah, there was one year where one of my best friend's grandmother was a lunch lady, like was working in the lunchroom, so we always got... The novelty of that wore off pretty quick, but we could always get seconds or, you know, a little bit more, a little bit extra of something, but there wasn't anything that was so amazing that that ended up being great. I remember too, that's the only thing that I remember is sometimes the smell of the cafeteria, like based on what they were cooking, was like you just started to dread what it possibly could have, you know, could be for lunch. Just that sweaty cafeteria food smell. All right, so maybe some more cast shadows. Something like that. Yeah, I've only been to one school cafeteria in Japan. They have a little bit of that problem too, because when they're cooking like fish stock and stuff, it just contaminates. That smell contaminates everything. So that's all you can smell is whatever the fishiest thing on the menu is. But yeah, but they have a lot of fresh food, a lot more fresh food. Everything was very like processed government food, from what I remember of American cafeterias. All that taxpayer money going to food that probably wasn't even as good as what the prisoners were eating. Oh yeah, there was a story like that in Japan. They compared the food that Japanese prisoners were given compared to what was in the school lunches, and the prison food looked like a gourmet restaurant. It was like grilled fish and nice salads and things. It was amazing compared to there's some really brutal Japanese school lunch items. I think I talked about the fish bone cake before, like these little fish cakes floating in that floated in soup, and they were like just literally made from bones, made from like ground up fish bone. Ugh. But yeah, they get these are the shiniest cookies ever. They get a lot of weird stuff like that, and that's also the excuse. Japan will take the meat from any whales that they catch and will feed them into the school lunch program. So some kids have had to eat whale meat and dolphin meat and whatever just so that they can justify whatever they're doing in their whaling industry. All right, and maybe like a little bit darker tone to put some texture on these guys. Why am I doing this so zoomed out? I keep doing that. Yeah, so some kind of texture that goes beyond the shading. All right. Oh, and maybe to give the chips some dimensionality there. There we go. 3D cookie action. It's going to be hard to put eyes on that, isn't it? All right. Well, now I'm going to have to remember what I was even thinking about comparing lunches. Yeah, for some reason I remember them referring to hot and cold lunch. Hot meaning the cafeteria lunch and cold meaning like the lunch you brought or something. I forget. There was something odd like that, like a temperature way that they talked about school lunch. I totally forget. Yeah, it was definitely hot lunch. They would, and I wonder if that was like a propaganda to try to get kids to buy it. It's like, oh, the lunch has warmth instead of an apple and a sandwich and some chips. Hot lunch. I don't remember. I don't think cold was a thing. All right. Oh, and maybe the tray needs some plastic amazement. Yes, doesn't the yellow look delicious today? Yeah. Yeah, school lunch, especially when you're a kid and you don't have a huge range of foods you've tried. It's like there was a lot of like, what's that? It's a lima bean medley. Or those weird things like that. Get my tablet at a better angle here. There's those mysterious entries, mostly like vegetables that you hadn't, or mixtures of vegetables that you have never seen before. I remember some of that. All right. Yeah, something like that. All right. I wonder how much the like lousy kitchen facilities affected that as well. Things being overcooked or just like the way that they I'm sure it was so much frozen food though. America loves its frozen food. Okay, now it's time to make some beer green. Get rid of this for now. And where's the shamrock? Okay, I don't know where it is. Oh, that's this. Oh, okay. All right. There we go. Okay, so both of those are above the color layer. Nice. So we'll leave this and maybe fade it a little bit so it looks like a cheaply printed coaster. Now we got to figure out how to make things look like beer. So I'll put, I'll put a head on top of this later. This probably should be darker. And then fade it up. And get rid of this. And do the same thing, but green. I guess the foam, yeah, would still have a little green tint to it to make it believable. Maybe not bright, though. Oh, no. Brighter than that. Yeah, there we go. Kind of a, yeah, dirty, dirty, whoa, dirty foam looking. Oh, yeah, because it's so light. I'll put white into that as well. The same thing here. Yeah, Lucky Charms marshmallows. Oh man, I can't even imagine. Green stars, yellow moons. Okay, let's see. White. No, it's just gonna have to be pure white, I think, to read. Yeah. So, to make it look foamy, there's something that I can do better that just looks like, I think I have to not make it look like it's glass. There we go. Yeah, maybe overlay. So it looks like it's in the glass a little bit more. And so can I do the carving this way? No, it's not bright enough. It's going to be another layer. So kind of the cut in the mug. This, and then fade that in a little bit. Yeah, we'll see if that works. And maybe some trim on the coaster. Oh, maybe, yeah, orange or something. Make it a little more multicolored. All right. And fade that so it looks a little printed too. So maybe this should go a little bit more because those eyes have to show up on top of it. And then we'll try to see if we can render some of this a little darker. Where are those? Oh, they're here. Okay, there. Something like this. St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, thanks, K5, for the idea. I would have been floundering for a while. Although writing a green beer joke might be a little bit beyond me. We'll find out. Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah, I can use the shadow to pick that up a little too. All right. Yeah, the head on the beer is a little too yellow, isn't it? How's that looking? It's all right. That one glass is really not good, but I think it gets the point across. There we go. Green beer. Bigger? I think that reads. Bigger, bigger, bigger. There we go. There we go. Sure. So a little bit underneath here. Yeah, nice. Yes, that's a good one, K5. Yeah, the green. Feared what the green beer would look like on its way out. Nice. Yeah, I wonder if that was a thing, because I know, people threw up green. You saw evidence of that, or you could find evidence of that. You would puke green beer, but I wonder if it was just food coloring. I think your body could break it down before it had a chance to escape. I don't know. I don't know that for a fact. There we go. Okay, those look like glasses of a yellow and green liquid, so we'll call it beer, and hopefully it'll come across. Oh, and this is done as well. Wow. Well, that wasn't too rough. something hot lunch, yes. He expected the lunch to be a lot hotter. Yeah, that might be a good. Here, let me put just so I remember that. Let me put some disappointment on this bag's face. He expected the school lunch to be a lot hotter because of how it was advertised. All right. Okay. See you in a minute. Yum's taking a break. All right. Yeah, it's definitely one of those get drunk days. Yeah, I don't think I wonder about that. Yeah, because a lot of the, kind of ethnic stereotypes, if that's what you would consider, Irish, yeah, have, are defended. They defend, like, there's all kinds of, I don't know, defamation leagues, but yeah, protecting the kind of reputation. There was a lot of protests, like when Sopranos was on TV. There was a lot of like Italian Americans protesting the portrayal of the Italian Americans as all, connected to the mafia and everything, and violent and whatever. So they, yeah, there was a little bit of pushback with that, but I don't know if Ireland's the same way. What is it? Is it Peaky Blinders? What's the Netflix series about the Irish mafia? I think it's Peaky Blinders. I wonder if there's been any pushback from from those portrayals. Yeah, I watched the first season of that, and they were talking about the actual gang that's based on, and they had those flat like cavi hats, and would put razor blades in the sides of the hats, so they'd slash you. They'd just take their hat off and slash you. They embedded razor blades so they wouldn't ever get caught with weapons, but they would slash your face with the razor blades in their hats. I thought that was a lovely thing to do. All right. Yes, it's time to, or just refuse to be canceled. Yeah, that's a really weird thing. Yeah, I just pre-ordered the Dune role-playing game. Modifius, one of the companies that does a lot of licensed and newer role-playing games, they produced a Dune role-playing game, and the thing that they did that was a little annoying is they pushed really hard this kind of inclusive and multicultural aspect to the people that were going to be writing for the game. But the setting of Dune, I mean, if you don't look at the David Lynch casting, but if you look at the original text, the original books, Dune is insanely multicultural. And it's not directly referencing like European, like it's not Eurocentric and directly referencing European history or anything. It's very unique and very diverse in the houses that they represent, or the different cultures on the different planets. And the Fremen, the inhabitants of Arrakis, the dwellers of Dune, are like specifically like inspired by Bedouins. So the history, and I don't know like so well the history of it, but it's like kind of far future, but everything like the different cultures that went to different planets were kind of based or have memories of old Earth history. So in the film, I think they're going to play up the fact, the new film, when it ever comes out, they're going to play up the fact that Atreides, like Paul's house, is kind of Greek inspired, like Macedonian or Greek inspired, and so the Fremen are more Bedouin or the nomadic, desert tribes. So it's like they have it's a distant link to cultures, but it's definitely not Eurocentric. So the fact that they were all, we have to be inclusive and you don't, it doesn't need that. Like the setting itself is already very, represents a lot of different diverse cultures, and the fact that in the game they're going to let you make your own house would then mean that you could include anything you wanted, like sub-Saharan African or South American, anything. You could be inspired by anything, so they don't have to actually, I don't know, but I think it's a selling point now, though. It just makes them, everyone wants to be the good guys, so as much as you can play that up. But I thought it was really unnecessary for them to promote it that way. Oh, but as far as cancel culture, but there was somebody that was working on the game that had a little incident on an actual play live stream where they claimed that they were like doing some rape storyline or something, or some like some non-consensual sex act in their role-playing game, and so they were canceled and they were kicked off of that game. So the Modifius, the company that was doing Dune, dumped them. So I don't know, it's a little weird. And it used to be, maybe still is, that when someone gets on the wrong side of some bad press and it actually starts affecting their career, that the machine kind of wanted it. The industry or whatever were just kind of tired of their bullshit, and they were just, this is a way for them to get rid of them. Which I had a kind of a feeling that might be what happened to Kevin Spacey, is that there were the powers that be, they were just like, yeah, we're done with this. So it wasn't necessarily the outrage of his any specific actions, but it was just, the somebody not wanting to work with him anymore, wanting to, like, take him out of the that happens in Japan a lot. There's a lot of like weird harassment and ways that people's careers are ended. So they don't call it cancel culture, but it's something that like industries do, because it's just an in crowd. Like so many industries where it's not actually talent that can make you money, is or get you a place in there. They're these little in groups, and so as soon as you have a falling out with somebody that has enough influence, you just get pushed out. But in more modern times, using the press, they can humiliate you or embarrass you with some sort of immoral incident. And so maybe like recent cancel culture is just that, disconnected from that. So it was inspired by that kind of behavior, and but it's just not even connected to industries anymore. It's like people that aren't even working, don't even have any, they're just fans or outside observers that are then pointing fingers and trying to have an effect on business, or on on industries, or types of entertainment or whatever, that they don't even have any position in. It's very strange. But yeah, it used to be like when that happened that you kind of suspected there were greater powers at work. But now it's just some jackass gets obsessed on social media and goes after someone. All right. And mostly because they're a failed whatever that person was. That's the thing that's so frustrating, is people that fail to find success in certain industries then decide they're just going to troll and try to cancel people that they don't think deserve to be there, because if they're not there, how can that person be in it? Well, I think in tabletop, when I'm saying like Eurocentric, in tabletop games, like Dungeons and Dragons is like the example. It's like the Xerox or the Kleenex of tabletop role playing, and Eurocentric. That bias, or the complaint about it, is because it's basically just Tolkien. It's based on Tolkien, or maybe even like Robert E. Howard's like fantasy history of Europe for Conan, like the I can't think of the world. What's the world of Conan? I'm really terrible at this. But yeah, but that's all based on either kind of medieval Europe or pre-Christian, pagan gods, the Norse and Celtic gods were the big inspirations. That's where elves and dwarves and everything comes from. So so that's where that started out, and then a lot of people are frustrated with that because of the weird narcissism of now. Everybody wants to see themselves. There's no such thing as like an avatar, like, or maybe it's because all avatars have to look like you or represent you in some way, so you can't see yourself. You can't relate to a character that doesn't look like you or have some weird similarity. So I think that's where a lot of it comes from. Is then there's complaints. Well, I'm not European, or I'm Mediterranean, not Northern European, or I'm East Asian or South American or whatever. So I don't see myself represented in this setting or in this culture. So that's where a lot of, and it gets more complicated with all of the, access to resources and power dynamics and stuff that everyone's, turning racism into now. But yeah, so the complaint is that because of that basic origin, it's all European, so people don't see themselves in that. But I think it's a very American thing, just because America is so diverse and it's all people fighting for the success and resources in America. So they it's kind of bled into entertainment culture and stuff. So if they're not represented, then they're somehow being denied resources, being denied something. But everyone's got a country of origin, or has some sort of origin, And so the entertainment, the culture, the art of that country does kind of represent you. But if you're American, it also doesn't because you've kind of blown it. You've kind of like ruined your, diluted your origin or kind of moved away from your original kind of source material. But everybody has source material because everyone is from somewhere, and every culture has produced some sort of, visual art, writing, music, whatever. So it's a little odd. So it's the demands the demands that American production, but this is actually British. This is actually a British company as well. So England has a little bit of that too. But it's very odd, those complaints. Yeah. Yeah, right. Mm. Yeah, no, that's a good point, Rev. Yeah, I'm not, yeah, I don't know what, but it's just, I mean, I think it's just an effort to change a power dynamic by just denouncing everything that, old white men, because that's been the case for a while. I think ever since the 90s, old white men have been demonized in education, especially university systems. So we want to recognize and fund other sources. And I don't know. I don't know. As I'm slowly becoming an old white man, I enjoy being demonized. Anyhow, that's always fun. All right. So okay, let's see here. I guess we can take a look at comments first. See how we did last week. Oh, what's going on? Did I? Oh, I'm bumping the camera. That's what's going. Yeah, that's what I did. I was wondering why that mic is coming into frame again. Yeah, my table isn't quite far enough or deep enough so that I can hit that tripod accidentally. All right, anyhow, let's try this. Okay, I'm gonna have to put I don't know why the comments aren't working this week. To put these somewhere where I can see them. So I don't ignore anything that's going on here. Oh, there we go. Oh, Rev, that you got grabbed. That's a great. I can't believe YouTube grabbed that. That's really great. Yeah, white people never gain any power in society when no white people play pretend with fairies and dragons. That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Not white people. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a new. And I think the industries that kind of are under attack for these sorts of things are the weak ones. They're the baby antelope or the injured older deer in the herd that you can kind of separate out. So comic books, tabletop role playing games, maybe even like animation, like TV animation and stuff, are vulnerable because they don't have like huge powerful lobbyists working with government to kind of protect them and things, so they're easy targets for cultural criticism. And they're not huge industries, so anything too negative can actually affect their sales. And so everybody wants to be the good guy. They want to be what we've heard on the right side of history, right? It's a thing you hear a bunch. Yeah. Yeah, YouTube censored that. That was funny. I wonder if it was fairies and dungeons. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Maybe just white people. I wonder what YouTube caught that they were like. Yeah, but non-white people play pretend fairies and dragons. Fairies and dungeons means nothing. Yeah, that's a really good point, and it's weird that they're going after entertainment. But I think this is a little bit. This kind of comes from academics, because I've heard people say, especially with kind of the takeover, the kind of woke takeover of like comic books that happened in the U.S., is things that are published with, that are registered with, ISBN numbers or whatever. I don't know what it specifically, how they're specifically registered, but they go into the Library of Congress as, publications. So they're made as a permanent record. They're entered into this like cultural catalog of, American pop culture. So if you get your ideology, you get this message in there, then it lives for all time. So kind of a political activist thinking that even if it's not going to be popular, even if nobody wants to read these stories, you've gotten it in there, you've embedded it in the culture, and maybe that'll have some effect or legitimize some opinion or something. But I've heard that perspective, that it's kind of a I don't know, like a cultural terrorism or something, or just it's they're trying to change minds and attitudes, but the approach it's very political and very odd in the way that they're willing to destroy industries. Because I think I already said this, but that Demon Slayer manga, the one that's really popular, that has the movie here in Japan, the English translation of Demon Slayer, that series of manga, made more money than every other American comic book published in like 2019. I think those are the numbers for like 2019, 2020. So the American comic book industry is dwarfed by a single manga title from Japan translated. So that shows you like the state of that industry. There's people that are working very hard and making great art and telling great stories in comics, and no one's reading them in America. So the comic industry is just trashed. It's just a joke. But I think a lot of that is pandemic related, because of what happened to the distribution. Yeah, no. Yeah, right. So funny. YouTube is watching the speech. Okay, so anyhow, let me comment on the comments. All right. So what did we do? March 16th, 2021. Once unpacked, the benefit provided by the neck pillow over its included packing material was unclear. It's so easy. I can take it anywhere. Life must be so difficult for some people. I would like to see a boss's face if someone showed up to work with a pillow. Nice. Anything else? You haven't seen how Amazon packs things recently. I always give the packing material, the bubble packing material to a friend. She prefers bubble wrap. Bubble wrap. Now that's funny. I snort. Oh, a snort. I got a snort from RJ. Nice. Wow. Nice. Okay, and the day before. Oh, that's right, the wet book. So March 11th, 2021. All of the excitement of the story's climax resulted in a wet book. All right, let's see how the sexual innuendo went. That's what happens when you read about the Titanic, Ed. Good thing it wasn't a Kindle. Cheap love novel before bed results in wet dreams. Nice. Po dog. Ha! Is that a ha? All right, well, we're doing better. We're getting a positive. Oh, I actually laughed at this one answer. Nice. Oh, here we go. Here's a random one from 2007. So nobody saw it. Well, people did see it. They just didn't see it on Go Comics. Being honey baked lost all meaning once the ham hit the floor. All right, that's another. Oh, I can like my own. Oh, I can like my own cartoons. How sad. Yeah, that's another food falling thing. Yeah, these are all oldies but goodies marker drawn. It's a pretty consistent drawing for a 2009 or 2009. The ironing board saw his burnt spot as a proof of usefulness, not misuse. Nice. Oh, and there is a comment. Sort of symbolic impressionist glaze applied over stark realism in the vein of Stephen Crane. Wow, 12 years ago, I got quite a comment. Nice. All right, couple more. 2007. Ooh, toilet paper, paper towels. No matter what he did, he could never manage to be more than a lowly single ply. Single ply joke. Oh, look at that. Now that's tiny. Yeah, so you can see how much bigger I started making the cartoons. I think I liked the originally that scale and kind of loneliness, and when I was printing things on index cards, that worked really well when they were just like little tiny things. So because a postcard, yeah, not an index card, a postcard you kind of put up to your nose a little bit more. So so I think I was making things smaller because I was assuming they were printed either on a postcard size booklet or something where, yeah, you could hold it in your hand. It wasn't on a monitor or anything. Yeah, because we don't do that as much with a computer monitor. Cosmetics embodied the vanity they help support. Vain Cosmetics. Oh, here we go. 2018. Yeah, this might have been drawn. No, this is probably just before I started streaming. One of them should not have been marked first class. It used to be. First class mail. Nice. All right. Last one. Oh, there's an... Oh, look at that. A KFC. The last piece of chicken was usually something unidentifiable. What part? All right. Nice. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's true, Rev. Yeah, I like your criticism of, yeah, academics is definitely, yeah. I agree with that. It's a lot of politics and agenda-driven stuff, baseless stuff. Yep. Yeah, purple toilet paper. Nice. Uh-oh, Yum's drinking a little. K5 smoking a little. It better be... I guess it is green, right? It used to be green, so that's thematic enough. Oh, wow. Wow. K5, 5 years sober. Interesting. Is that for functional reasons or just for like health kind of things? I'm curious. Nice. Everyone has to put a little green food coloring in whatever they have going on. You know what? I wonder if I don't think I've done a St. Patrick's Day cartoon before. Oh, 2020. That was probably drawn on stream, wasn't it? Heavy. Oh, yeah. 2020. That was within recent memory. Heavy whipping cream. I think we even got this one randomly before Starbucks main ingredient. Nice. Okay. Well, enough of reading the same comments over and over again. Rev's drinking knowledge, slamming the knowledge. Bottle at a time. Nice. So what's Yum drinking? Drinking a little. I'm trying. Let's guess. Was it? If it's thematic, then it's maybe green something. Oh. Yeah, I'm not even gonna make it through a Red Bull. All right, but we've just begun. Okay, so let's try to write something here. All right. Yeah, I wonder if I can figure out a way to combine, so do the convenience store and the movie discussion, so I can eat a snack during the movie discussion to make anything I say unintelligible, because people love eating on stream. All right. Uh-oh. Yum and K5 are duking it out. Emoji fight. Yum got censored. All right. So school lunch. Yeah, should do a hot school lunch. So, actually, I can reverse this if all the drawing is done. I can put this in a reasonable place. All right. So, the brown bag. A hot school lunch. Yeah, hot lunch. Yeah, definitely hot lunch is a thing. It's weird. I don't remember. Remember, are you taking the hot lunch or who's taking the hot lunch? I remember teachers saying something weird like that. All right. Probably hot lunch being much hotter. I don't know. Maybe school hot lunch. The brown bag imagined a school hot lunch being. I'm totally missing a verb in there. Imagined being much hotter. It disappointed at lunch. Oh, interesting. Yeah, yeah. Nice. Taking the hot lunch. Yeah. Who's taking the hot lunch? Taking. Oh yeah, we couldn't imagine anyone taking the hot lunch. So how do you refer to brown bag lunch or yeah, just the what is that? The lunch from home, are you bringing lunch from home? Yeah, couldn't imagine anyone taking the hot lunch. The brown bag couldn't imagine why anyone would take would take a school hot lunch. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Oh no. Oh no. Are you Oh, you're killing me, All right. Okay. The Urban Dictionary is not my friend. Oh my god. Okay, anyhow. Well, let's not get this live stream totally totally banned. I feel so out of date. Yeah, I don't think I've heard that reference outside of a cafeteria before. All right. Let's see. Hot lunch being much hotter. Well, let's just read from there. So many euphemisms for so many filthy acts, aren't there? All right. So, big imagined school lunch. Yeah, so I will stay away from. Yeah, I guess. Okay, let's go to the other. Green beer might be easier to to not screw up. All right. Duly noted. I'll make sure that goes into your file. Yum. Not her thing. All right. Okay. Yeah, something about why that would why anyone would do that, why anyone would. So every year yes. Thank you. You're saving me from a yeah from a lot of regret. All right. So just something simple like the same time every year. Samer. Got weird or something. There's got to be a better way to say that. The same time every year. The beer got weird. So which... Just saying green beer is weird I don't think is all that funny. Abominations. Which one is beer and which one is... One of them would look exactly the same later. All right. Yeah, wasn't sure how this celebrated anything or... yeah, what exactly was being celebrated here? The one day of the year it was... Yeah, not worth drinking. Something about... envy, green, and envy, green, and something. Green beer jokes, great. Yeah, the coaster, yeah. Yeah, one is correct. Nice. So, differences or... Yeah, because I think it's not even... It's just cheap... It's just cheap American beer. It's not even like Irish stout or anything. Yeah, that's very funny. Green American beer. All the way, make it all the way back, same color. So is Specific time of year before you drink. Oh yeah, yeah, lucky, yeah, luck and Irish. Yeah, that's good. The next day they wouldn't feel so lucky. Is good. Something about hmm. Yeah, is there something about yeah being exactly the same or being tired of hit on by drunken green glasses? Hmm. Or just as an excuse. I think we yeah talked about. So it's an excuse to drink. It's a drinking holiday. So um, any excuse to make beer look less appetizing. Or cheap beer. Hmm. An easy way. Yeah, that. Oh, oh, there you go. That's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah, so I should color the other beer like a stout, and then yeah, have the beer like suspicious that it wasn't Irish. That's good. That is a really good idea. If I can actually pull it off here, where's the color layer? Yeah, so color the. Turn all of this off. What? Oh, oh, that's right. It's not on. Yeah, it's on this layer. Did I really highlight it? Oh no, there we go. Okay. Yes, that's a brilliant idea. Some empty friend, you are saving me constantly. That's great. Yeah, to color the one like a stout, and then have it suspicious of the green beer's true nationality. Oh, is that going to be? That's pretty dark. I'll go a little less. Yeah, something maybe like that. Yeah, that works. And then the head. Yeah, that's great. There we go. That looks just dirty, doesn't it? Doesn't look. It's a little less desaturated, maybe. Yeah, more. Yeah, that's close. Let's see what it looks like with the. Whoa! Okay, some of that highlighting has got to go. Oh, and the eyes barely there. So I don't need. Where is that? Here. I don't need this. Actually, I can put that on the wherever the bubbles are. Must be up here. Where? Oh, there they are. So it doesn't. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Doesn't have to scream out like that. And then some of these need to go. So where are these? Oh, that's that same layer? Yeah, it is. Okay, get rid of this. Sorry. There we go. A little more. Stout. There we go. Yeah, not so. Oops. Not so brilliant. That color works, right? It doesn't look like chocolate beer. Nice. Yes, nice. Okay, let me turn everything back on. See if we're still good. I think that works. Yeah, so suspicious of... Now I'm gonna have trouble phrasing that. No stouts for Yum. Yeah, I don't think I've had... Oh, no, I have. I've had a coffee stout, actually. Ugh. It was brutal. I couldn't get through it. Yeah, it was a coffee-flavored stout. And I just had a pineapple curry beer just not too long ago. That was brutal, too. Basically just like curry powder in a sweet kind of pineapple ale. That was rough. Green face. Yes. Green face. So, considered cultural appropriation. Yeah, I don't want to put anything too lame and buzzwordy in there, but something like that. So always, yeah. I wonder if that'll come across if I'm just one is suspicious of the other, because I'm not sure people will make the complete connection of a stout being Irish, so I might have to specifically reference it. So maybe just the Irish stout. The national origin of became suspicious of the green beer's national origin. That is a lot of very unfunny words all put together. Green with a space. Alright, there's got to be a better way to say that. Yeah, it's really direct and not very playful at all. Yeah, trying to fit in. Oh, hey, thanks, K5. Are we getting harassed? I totally missed that. Thank you. Wielding the mighty wrench. I appreciate the mod support. I'm just here goofing around with writing. Thank you for that. Where's my cursor? Oh, there it is. Thank you for for catching that. All right. I blame Yum for attracting the perverts. All right. Or maybe it's my choice of hot lunch jokes. All right. So the Irish stout became suspicious of the green beer's national origin. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. It's just not very clever. Okay, let's see. going back to this. It's being much hotter. Maybe just he instead of saying brown bag. He always imagined a school hot lunch being much hotter. It's a disappointing tray of food. Ugh, great. Thanks. Oh man. It was meant a school hot lunch being much hotter. Yeah, so the disappointment, I guess, the frown lets you know who's imagining. Yeah, I guess that works. He always imagined a school hot lunch would be much hotter. He always imagined it would be. Being. Imagined it being, yeah, much hotter. Yeah, that works. Imagined it being much hotter. I guess that lunch wasn't so hot. Yeah, he was. Hot lunch wasn't so hot is good. That's much better putting those together. So his first time in the cafeteria, he found hot lunch wasn't was better than hot. Yeah, hot lunch wasn't so hot is good. Oh, that's good. Yeah, hot because it wasn't enjoyable. Or hot. He assumed hot would include some sort of something more enjoyable. Fruit snacks. Nice. Yeah, I like hot and enjoyable. That's good. Wasn't very hot is good. He immediately discovered that school hot lunch wasn't very hot. What is that? All right. Wasn't very hot. Yeah, the inappropriately named hot lunch. School hot lunch, the hot school lunch. Yeah, so I like the disappointment, the fantasy of, oh, I'm going to get to see a hot lunch today. Not very hot. Capri Suns, yes. Yeah, right. Definitely why now he knew why they threw food in the cafeteria. All right. Imagine a school hot lunch being much hotter. Yeah, it's really straightforward. Both of these they don't have any like anything very clever in the execution. All right. Is there a space? Yeah, there is. That's what that is. Okay. I guess that works. Yeah, because that's the idea, but it just doesn't. There's nothing very clever about it. And he is better than the brown bag, I think. So we'll go with that. He always imagined a school hot lunch being much hotter. Bag lunch. Yeah, not being envious, like thinking that it was a big deal, like, because I guess every brown bag lunch only comes to the cafeteria once, so it has expectations of what a school lunch is going to look like, and it wasn't very good. Yeah. So his fantasy was very disillusioned. Yeah, so not envious, just disappointed. The kind of frown of disappointment. Yeah, so not saying, "Oh, I'm not enough, or I'm not as good as this," but saying it should have been much hotter, much better. All right. Yeah, I think I'll go with that. Let me do a quick spell check, make sure I didn't miss any simple stuff. And Stat became suspicious of the green beers national origin. Or nation of origin is better. Maybe nation of origin. Suspicious of the green beers, nation of origin, national origin. Nation of origin. That sounds a little less technical. The Irish stat became suspicious of the green beers, nation of origin. I don't know. It sounds just like something on a immigration form. National origin, nation of origin. I don't know. Neither's. Yeah, I don't think there's any one that's better than another. Irish stuff became suspicious of the green beers, nation of origin. Yeah, nation of origin works. All right. So that did it. Let me save these off. Heritage is good. Yeah. That became. Yeah, I don't want to say of the green beers. National heritage? I'll stick with nation of origin. Because it is always like, what, cheap Miller Lite or whatever with green dye in it. I don't ever think it's good beer. Alright. Yeah, heritage is good though. Dubious heritage. Always imagined a hot school lunch being much hotter. Always imagined it being much hotter. Alright. Oh, yeah, that would be good. Yeah. Yeah, wasn't satisfied until he saw his papers. That's good. Proof of citizenship or proof of nationality, yeah. He couldn't enjoy the evening until he saw proof of nationality. All right, let me just put these up. Okay. No, please. Sorry, doing a little FTP upload. Okay. Cool. They are there, so we'll have those to look at the reaction next week and say, wow, these are not very well worded cartoon humor. All right. Yeah, that works. Both of those are up. Yeah, I like that. Give him a little badge. Papers, please. All right, so now I'm just in the blank void of Photoshop. Oh, okay, so maybe the first thing we'll do before we go to the movie segment is I'll show you guys. So I brought, let me see, this might, if this is too gruesome, I'll back off a little bit on this. Where is, all right, let me see if this is too brutal. Hey, all right. Oh, I can put the there's my Google search. I can't believe that's on the live stream now. All right, so I'll just do this real quick just so you can see a little bit easier. So a snack that I picked up that I will try to enjoy while we have a movie discussion. Might be a little bit, it won't be noisy. It might be a little bit hard to eat, but is black sesame. Black sesame jelly snacks. So they're little squares of probably some kind of vegetable. They're not in Japan. Most of the kind of what they call jellies or gelatin are vegetable based. They're not like the animal hoof Jello brand kind of stuff that they have more in the U.S. So this is black sesame is a pretty common flavor for desserts, which is pretty funny because it's when it's sweet, it's interesting, but it always makes things a really unappetizing color. So as you can see from the front of the package, yeah, they just look like little squares of dirt. But the package is like very natural looking though. You can see it's got like little illustrations of herbs and ingredients and little flowers and things. So, and the company is not something I've seen before. Yeah, so this is, oh, wait, here they are. Yeah, Kashikobu. So I don't know this company, and but it looks like a little bit more of a health snack or something. Oh, yeah, it smells like reasonable. So there you go, little black squares of jelly. Yeah, so there we are. Look at that. So they're gummy, so they're very soft. It looks almost like that salt, like Swedish salt candy or something. If you didn't know the texture, yeah, that looks a lot like salt candy in Sweden. That was very shocking. They have sweet candy and then they have salt candy. So it literally is. And maybe that was a nutrition thing. I don't know. I wonder if like there's something they can put in salt candy, kind of a dietary thing for Scandinavian children. But let's give this a shot. Oh, it's not, the flavor is really mild. There's a little bit, like just a little bit of sesame flavor. I thought it would be much stronger. Because a lot of times they'll do like little fried balls, and then after they take them out of the fryer, they'll roll them in black sesame seeds. You see those at Chinese restaurants and stuff sometimes too. But yeah, I think they're trying to do like a kind of a natural low sugar kind of thing, because it really is. It's not sweet. It's just a very plain jelly flavor with some black sesame on it. The color is really terrible, though. I guess if that's why they're pushing the healthy, because the black sesame can kind of push that into more blue, like a more bluish black, and it looks kind of, looks more interesting. But these are just very dismal and gray. It's okay. Not particularly amazing. I like black sesame a lot. Oh, they also do tofu. They do black sesame tofu in Japan, which is really good. So that's interesting too, because it's black sesame flavor, and then you put shoyu soy sauce and wasabi on black sesame. That's really good. That doesn't sound like it would be a good combination, but it's actually a surprisingly good combination because sesame you can push to be sweet like a dessert or savory, with some salt and things. Savory more like a meal, a non-dessert food. But these are okay, very odd. I'm not going to rush out and try to find anything else this company's making. They're pretty bland. It's like really... I don't get the point of why they're jelly. And it's not even like a powder. It's just like a very mild suggestion. I'm only here to be dumb and gay. Uh-oh. You just got the pinned message of the week, Yum. LOL. I'm so sorry. I'm no good with words. I'm only here to be dumb and gay. That is going to be pinned at the top of this stream. Sorry. That just made me laugh. All right. Oh. Yeah, so very mediocre. And you can taste it's actually sesame seeds because you get that kind of, that stronger sesame taste, like right at the end. A little more, like, bitter. Weird. Not very good. Sesame tofu. Yeah, sesame tofu is really good. Yum's dumb gayness takes this week's message. All right, enough of this giant me in the middle of the screen here. All right, so let's move on to some movie talk. Oh, wait. Oh, I can't do this gracefully at all, can I? Okay, well, I'll kind of cheat the screen. All right, so that was 6 seconds of applause. I don't know if I thought that would be a better transition. Maybe we should find something a little shorter. But yeah, so now we have an applause transition. So this week, a duplication. We're looking at The Lighthouse. So The Lighthouse is directed, let me go down to names here. So directed by Robert Eggers. In his previous film, he had only done short films prior to this, and I think production design. I think he was a production designer on a lot of previous stuff, but his only other directing credits were short films. But they were kind of period things, like a Hansel and Gretel, and like they seemed kind of like fairy tale type or kind of darker topics, like Telltale Heart. I think one of them was Poe's Edgar Allan Poe's Telltale Heart. But the previous film was The Witch. And if you haven't seen The Witch, I won't spoil it, but it's it's a very... So The Witch is really good. It's a really good story about a family that's kind of banished from their community. So it's early colonial America, like puritanical colonial America. And the father takes some sort of stand against the town and or against the church, I think, in the town, and they're banished. And they have 5 kids, and the oldest daughter is put in charge of taking care of the youngest child, which is just an infant. And as you'll see in the trailer, that they give this away in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler. Very quickly after they've like kind of settled in their little cabin outside of the near the woods, away from the town, in their banishment, to start their own farm and try to make a living outside of the support of the city. The eldest daughter, who is like kind of early teens, is put in charge of the infant, and she's has the baby in the grass near the woods and is playing peekaboo, and the baby vanishes. And so that's the first kind of tragic thing that happens to this poor family. But the remarkable thing about the film is there's 2 younger children, maybe like 5 or 6 years old, very young children. And their performances are amazing because they are teasing the older sister, and they start calling her a witch. and they say that the goat, the only animal that they have is a black goat, very demonic, like a very big horns, a very black goat called Black Phillip, and they say Black Phillip told them that the oldest sister, is a witch, and that's why the baby disappeared. And from there, the whole film just goes off the rails as far as this family kind of breaking down. But it's really good. I would definitely recommend it. Very beautifully filmed, really immersive. Like, it puts you right in that time period, the limited everything and kind of the desperation of trying to survive at those times without the support of a village. So anyhow, that was his first film. So really great debut. And so this is the follow-up. So in 2019, The Witch, I think, is 2015, 17, something like that. Just not too many years ago. But The Lighthouse. So The Lighthouse is basically the story of two men who take a shift maintaining a lighthouse, like in New England. From their accents, you're hearing kind of mid-Atlantic or kind of New England accent. And so it's Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson of Twilight fame. So everything he's done since Twilight has been really amazing. I've really been impressed with how good an actor he was, and what a waste of time it was for him to do Twilight. And I'm so glad that he survived that role and didn't start doing, like, just only vampire roles or whatever after that, because he's done really well just as an actor, and the diversity of his roles is amazing. And like I said, kind of spoiled earlier, his accent is amazing. He does a really good job of not blowing his New England accent. So so these two men are assigned, and the interesting thing about the film itself that the director kind of tipped in the beginning of this little trailer introduction is they found this little island and actually built these buildings. And so they built a working lighthouse and a little cabin, like a little servant's cabin, or a little a keeper's cabin or whatever. So this was all original construction, but it looks very much like it's been there forever, been pounded by the ocean wind and the rain. So it really, really works in the setting. And maybe they kind of cheated it a little bit, because as you can see from the trailer, I can play this in the background a little bit. As you can see from the trailer, the film is 4:3, like all that, almost square, and black and white. And so this movie did win, was nominated, didn't win, but was nominated for cinematography the year that it was out. Let's get out of the way a little bit. And so it has a really amazing cinematography when you have scenes like a single, I'm in the way here, but like a single oil lamp is lighting a whole scene, and it's very claustrophobic. So basically there's not much. They're on this island in that little cabin next to the lighthouse, and that's it. Like that's all you see. So they're they're running on the island and just dealing with each other. So the Willem Dafoe character is the kind of old experienced man. He's the wickie. That's the role of the person that maintains the lamp, like a candle wick, maintains the lamp of the lighthouse. And so Robert Pattinson's character is the new guy, and his so there's a question immediately. So this job became available, and Robert Pattinson took this job. So what happened to the previous guy? That's kind of like the first conversation, one of the first conversations they have. And no more of this. The first thing that they talk about, come on, fuck off. This is really bad. I like when you can't back out of things. There we go. So the Willem Dafoe. So I'll do the characters' names. That'll be better. So Willem Dafoe's character is Thomas Wake, and this actually spoils. That's funny. The credits actually spoil a kind of dramatic point in the movie. But Robert Pattinson's character, his real name, he introduces himself as Ephraim Winslow, and they don't actually learn each other's names until the end of the little time they're supposed to be there. So their assignment is for 4 weeks on this island to tend this lighthouse. So they clean everything, you know, fill the, I guess it's like kerosene or some sort of fuel that the lamp on the lighthouse is using. So the very first scene, they're settling into the cabin, and then that evening meal, the Thomas Wake, the Willem Dafoe character, offers a toast. So he has like a bottle of vodka or some kind of straight alcohol, and he pours 2 glasses and has this toast that kind of is a very kind of a sailor's toast about, you know, dying at the bottom of the sea. And Robert Pattinson's character Ephraim refuses to toast. He says, "I don't drink alcohol," and so he is insulted. Thomas Wake is insulted by this and says, "You can't not answer a toast. It's, you know, it's bad luck. It's insulting to not answer a toast." So eventually, the Ephraim character goes to the sink, pours the alcohol out in the sink, and then pumps the pump for the cistern and puts water in his glass, and then answers the toast. But right away, after he drinks water, realizes that something is rotten or terrible, like that something with the toilet or something has leached into the water supply. So the water is foul, very foul and rotten. And so they're immediately off on the wrong foot. They haven't introduced each other by name. They're just, you know, having a little discussion about what they need to do. And immediately, the Willem Dafoe character rides the Ephraim character, the assistant, very hard about his chores and what he needs to do. So he's got all of this heavy labor he needs to do. He needs to clean everything. They're repainting the lighthouse. He needs to haul oil up to the top to, you know, refill the lamp, and so all of this heavy labor. And so for this entire time, they just have these mostly silent meals, and refuse. So Willem Dafoe's character is drinking the whole time, and they refuse to have much of a personal relationship. And then right at the very end, the last day, okay, it's the last day that they're going to be here, and things start to loosen up a bit, but over the course of those 4 weeks, Thomas Wake, the older man, refuses to allow Ephraim into the top of the lighthouse. So he's like, "That's not for you. That's my duty." And also too, the reason that they have very little interaction is because basically, the Ephraim character takes a day shift and cleans and does heavy maintenance all day, and Willem Dafoe is sleeping. Thomas Wake is sleeping the whole time, and then he wakes up and takes the night shift. So he lights the lamp, and there's a foghorn kind of sound too, which is actually, once you're in the building, it's really loud. So that becomes a kind of a weird frustration for the Ephraim character, is that it's he's, you know, having his ears blown out by this kind of foghorn sound. But it's the purpose of the lighthouse is to sound a foghorn and then have a light beacon for ships. And so Thomas Wake refused to let him into the upper the very top of the lighthouse where the lamp is. And so eventually that he becomes very frustrating to the Ephraim character, and he kind of sneaks up. He stays awake, and he sneaks up to see what's actually going on, because he gets some weird, like, looking at the top of the lighthouse itself, he sees the light, and he also sees, like, there's sometimes where he thinks maybe he sees Thomas Wake nude in the top of the, like, bathing himself in the light from the lighthouse. And they actually show an image of his face lit up, and actually, he looks shirtless, so you're wondering he's having some weird experience in that light. And so the Ephraim character kind of comes as high as he can in the lighthouse to look up through the grate and see what's going on, and he sees tentacles. He sees some sort of bizarre tentacle up there with him, and then something that could be ejaculate or slime or whatever kind of oozes down from beneath from the grating, and he kind of has to step out of the way. So they suggest something sexual and something, kind of Lovecrafty and, kind of eldritch is going on in the top of the lighthouse, and he's still denied, being able to see it. And so their minimal communication kind of work shift ends. It's the last night, so Thomas Wake again, kind of presses the toast, they to toast each other, and then the Ephraim character accepts. So they start drinking alcohol and get insanely, wasted. They're crazy intoxicated and have this crazy night where they start to share information with each other. So the Ephraim character confesses that his name isn't really Ephraim Winslow as he introduced himself, but much later on, not from the very beginning, but much later on, and that his name is also Thomas. So please, call him Tommy. And so that's a little odd, and so you get some suggestion of so if he's under assumed identity, what's he doing here, what's going on. And he talks a little bit about his previous work was in Canada, doing logging, like working as a lumberjack doing logging in Canada, and that wasn't good work, so he's looking for something else to, just provide a future for him, and so he can save some money. And the interesting thing that the Thomas Wake character does is everything that he's told, because the younger character has been so silent the whole time. He's saying, you're trying to be so mysterious. You're trying to, you think you're so complex. You think you're so different. You think your situation's so unique. You're not that at all. You're nothing. And so as he's revealing these secrets, the Willem Dafoe character keeps saying that there's nothing interesting about you. I've heard this story before. That's not, there's nothing special. And it's a very odd kind of breakdown of those characters. And so that leads to, they wake up in the morning, crazy hungover, and but a storm is coming, and so they're waiting out, with their everything they brought with them. They're waiting out on the edge of the island for their relief, for the boat to come and take them away and leave the other crew. Nobody arrives, and so they panic a little bit and don't really know what they should do. But the one thing they do is continue drinking, and that's further kind of it's made worse by the fact that Thomas Wake reveals that he takes Tommy out with some shovels, and they go out to the one side of the cabin and dig, and then they unearth a crate of and you don't know what they're going to dig up. It's very kind of weird and mysterious. They unearth a crate of more alcohol. So now they've got plenty of alcohol to wait out this delay, so this storm or whatever's delaying. But previously, through those 4 weeks of the labor, a couple of interesting things came up with the Tommy character. So that'll be easier to say Thomas and Tommy. So the Tommy character, so the previous assistant hid in the mattress this little scrimshaw statue of a mermaid. And he becomes kind of obsessed with that. And because they're, lonely guys that are just, it's only them for that whole time, that becomes this his focus of kind of sexual desire and attraction. And once things fall apart between Thomas and Tommy, he starts to blame him for planting this here, because what ends up happening, so a thing that the film does really well is it becomes kind of it becomes unreliable. When you saw there's a tentacle or something going on at the top of the lighthouse, you don't know if he really saw that or if he dreamt that, because they've set up this this kind of series of strange dreams he's having, because something is haunting him. So he has these dreams of bodies, of a body in the water, of a light-haired man that won't face him. So he's had these weird kind of horrible dreams. And so you don't know if he sometimes is dreaming things or is actually hallucinating things. And so after he discovers this mermaid, he becomes obsessed, and mermaids start to show up in his kind of nightmare or dreams. And then one of the days that he's working, he finds a woman, like a female body, washed up on the island, kind of all entwined in seaweed, and he pulls the seaweed from her face and starts to pull it from her body, and she's topless, and so he starts to touch her body and then moves down, and her lower half is a fish body. And then so kind of as a suggestion that this is just a weird hallucination or a nightmare, the mermaid just begins like shrieking like a weird kind of like siren shriek into his face, and he just flees, he just runs away. So that's kind of the culmination of his like weird mermaid obsession. And but the mermaid keeps coming up again and again in these weird nightmares he's having. So that his nightmares are the first thing that suggest like there's something weird and not right in who these characters are, and that you can't really look at what's happening to them as actually happening, like the relationships between them are not very real. And so that also gets reinforced by, as later on in the films things happen, and Thomas will say to Tommy, I didn't do that, you did that. So he'll start to try to confuse him about the reality of certain events, or I never said that, you said this. And so there's this weird kind of kind of gaslighting or weird deception that's going on, and makes things very unreliable, so that once they miss the pickup and they start drinking, both of them have just completely insane, like unreliable reactions to everything. They both get kind of violent. So their nights of drinking kind of vacillate between, fighting each other, breaking up the furniture in the cabin, attacking each other, and then just holding each other tenderly and telling each other their secrets. So it's really, really strange. But things just like really, really break down between these two characters. And then, of course, with Tommy confessing his name wasn't Ephraim like he originally said, he then spills the beans and tells Thomas that the reason that he lied about his name is because that was the name of a man that he killed in the logging, when they was doing the logging in Canada, and had to flee from that. So he's like, hiding to escape punishment from that and trying to find some sort of work. And that's why he took this strange job. But then you also get this idea, because the original excuse for why there wasn't an assistant there, why that position was vacant, is because he went mad. There's a suggestion, and you don't know how true this is, that Thomas killed the previous assistant. So you get these weird why just spill the beans? Yeah, so you have seen this. Why just spill your beans? Yes, thank you, Yum. Oh, thank you. Everyone is telling me. So that's the thing too. That's the seagull part is very important too. There's this weird confrontation that Tommy has one day when he's coming back to the cabin with a seagull. So there's a seagull at the door of the cabin, and he's not going to let him pass. It's like being very aggressive with him. So he just kind of, tries to, shoo him away, and it barely works. So he kind of has a fight with a seagull. And then the Thomas warns him, I saw you fighting, with that gull. Don't do that. Those are the souls of sailors. I forget the punishment, but they're stranded, like the lost souls of sailors. Those seagulls are possessed with the lost souls of sailors, kind of stranded on this island. So don't do anything to them. And so then when they're further, so seagulls keep coming up. There's a seagull at the window, and that might be one of the first times that he looks out of the window at the lamp, as a seagull is like kind of tapping aggressively at the window, kind of cawing at him, and then flies away. And I think that might be one of the first times he's focused out the window itself. But so you have this idea, don't disturb the seagulls. They're the souls of dead sailors. And when he goes to fix the cistern to try to improve the water supply, at a later time. There's a dead seagull in the water supply, and so the water is just getting worse and worse. And then he's harassed. He's harassed by a seagull, maybe angered by that fact. And there's a gull near him, and he beats a seagull to death. And this happens like almost right before their relief is coming. So he beats a seagull to death, and Thomas knows about that, so he says, "You did this. You cursed us. You killing that gull is the reason the seas are angry. We have this storm, and that we're going to be stranded here." They curse you, yeah. They curse you, yeah, definitely. But yeah, so that seagull is important because then that image comes back at the end. So yeah, without going too far. So the interesting thing, so that once they start drinking and are just waiting for the relief, things just completely fall apart between the two characters. And remember, this has basically been two characters we've seen in like nightmares and dreams. Like we saw the mermaid, and we saw, the original Ephraim. And then in one of there's a scene also where Tommy is pulling up a lobster trap. And so that's one of like the kind of treats that they can have, so they can trap lobster. So they have one night where they have a nice lobster dinner, and he pulls up a lobster trap, and inside the trap is a severed head. And I think there's a suggestion, of a one-eyed, something about the previous assistant, but the previous assistant, he finds a one-eyed head in the lobster trap. So that, like, I don't know if that actually happens or if that is his proof that you did kill the previous assistant. So they're both kind of damned for this murder. Yes. Right. So the lobster dinner is kind of an important thing. So he asks him about the cooking. So do you like my cooking? And the Tommy character refuses to say that he likes his cooking. And so there's this weird, so the Thomas character, the Willem Dafoe's character reaction to him refusing to say he likes his cooking, because that was like his pride of like, he cooked this lobster dinner, and that's the thing he does, and he's proud of his cooking. And Tommy refused to say that he likes his cooking. So the Thomas character is almost possessed by this anger, and he, like, by the name of Neptune, curses curses Tommy. So it's kind of this it kind of foretells kind of the fate of the Tommy character, because he says, he will be, drugged down to the sea and his body torn apart, and nothing that remains of his body will be Tommy anymore. He'll be completely consumed, completely destroyed. So this is what the curse he's wishing, like that the trident of Neptune will claim his body, and he will be torn apart by the sea. So he just like screams this horrible, this long, like a kind of sailor's curse, what sounds like kind of a sailor's curse against Tommy. And then after this huge rage, Tommy's like, "Okay, I like your cooking." Like, he just concedes, I like your cooking. And so that's kind of this weird clue. And then as they are as things become more violent, and they're kind of confronting each other and kind of in physical, or I don't know if it's actually like maybe the climax, like the very climax, but there's a kind of hallucination transformation scene where the Thomas character, Willem Dafoe's character, appears as like the old man of the sea, or appears like, almost like Neptune, or he has like his body's covered with shells, and he has a long white beard and a crown. So the Tommy character sees him as that. So there's this suggestion of that he's not, that there's something more to him, or maybe just he's gotten, because of that curse, or because of this constant harassment that's gotten inside of his head, and he's seeing him as this harassing kind of sea god. And so let's see, I don't want to, I guess a lot of people have actually seen yes, right. So yeah, a lot of people have seen it, so I don't it's hard to spoil it because it's just exactly like Mandy in the way that it's the experience. So even if you know the events that happened, it's actually the experience of those characters going through that. So I don't think it would be difficult. It's not going to be, too bad to go too far into things, but it gets to the point where where so I'm trying to think of what is that factor, what the thing that flips him. But they start to kind of it kind of goes back and forth between a character dominating the other and trying to control, get control of the situation, because with the drinking they've been doing and everything, it's very difficult to even know like what is reality anymore. And Tommy blames Thomas for seducing him into this weird mermaid obsession. And there's a little scrimshaw mermaid. He breaks that in one of his kind of fits to free himself from these fantasies of having sex with mermaids. And there's a few actual masturbation scenes that Tommy that shows Tommy like fantasy holding the little sculpted mermaid and fantasizing about her. And the so the symbolism of the lighthouse then kind of like you kind of always, anything like phallic in that way, you're instantly thinking there's some male component to it. But they actually there's a shot that's a total reference. So as he's getting more excited in his self-pleasure, there's a rotating shot of the lighthouse as if like the lighthouse is becoming erect. So as we've already seen that strange kind of Lovecraft sex something going on at the top of the lighthouse, we've already have this like sexual relationship to what's going on in the lighthouse. So it's about it becomes about these two men and this the weird dynamic, the weird relationship of just maleness. So just like Mandy was a very male focused, like male ego, male power, male drive story, this also, the lighthouse is very kind of the dynamics between men and kind of the obsession of men's desires and greeds, and also the the deception, like why they would have to lie, like the horrible deeds that they would do that would make them have to lie and make them stuck in this job, because this is not a great job, and it probably doesn't pay particularly well, and they're stuck in the situation because they've done things in life that have just put them here. So yeah, let's see. I don't want to spoil anything too. So I liked, so once they started to suggest that these characters are not what they seem, or they're kind of like they're representing other things, like once they start to suggest, so maybe after the curse too, and then you get confirmation when you see the Thomas character like as a sea god, you kind of get this suggestion that they're playing out these parts, and they're almost like these weird mythical roles, and there's certain images that reinforce that in the story. So the Thomas character, it's suggested because he knows everything, like he's like he has the history of this place, and he's constantly referring back to back in 97, like 1897, back in the, and so the things that happened, and you don't know if it's true or not, and Tommy starts to dispute the fact of some of the validity of some of these stories and histories that he's given, but the Thomas character is always giving these histories. And once you see him in that like ocean god form, that seems to reference Proteus. So Proteus is like the old man of the sea, like an assistant companion god to Neptune. And so you see him as that, and then they do a few things, not only just the ending, but they do a few things that suggest the Tommy character has control of fire. So he's always lighting matches. And so he lights matches to smoke. And in one of the scenes where the cabin is actually flooded, Thomas can't light his pipe, so he's got a pipe the whole time, and he's frustrated because everything's so wet, there's no way for him to light his pipe. And out of frame, Tommy strikes a match and comes out of the match. So he's always able to create fire, and so seems to be a reference. And they kind of solidify that or kind of validate that in the last shot of the film. But so that's a kind of a Prometheus reference. So the Titan that took fire, that took energy from Zeus and gave it to humanity. So there's a few other things that reinforce that, and there's one of the hallucinations that Tommy has in one of his dreams is I think it's once he's confessed that he's killed, he sees a body outside the cabin, and he turns the body over, and it's him. And just as he turns around, the Thomas character is there, like completely nude, but there's this crazy shot, almost like a symbolist painting. And I think that's where the director, there was some inspiration for some of the mythology and everything in this film from symbolist painting. There's a specific, like, I think, Dutch painter that some of these images came from. But he turns around, and the Thomas character is there, and light from his eyes, exactly like the strong beam of the lighthouse, like, is focused directly at Tommy's face. So almost like that. So in that shot, very much, Thomas looks like Zeus, and Tommy looks like Prometheus, like, taking light, or at least arousing the wrath, of Zeus. And and a lot of the ways, so there's a few shots of ground kind of all intertwined by insects or seaweed or things, and that's a lot. The specific painter that the director references, a lot of his paintings have that look, and also his discovery of the mermaid, the way she's intertwined or kind of entwined with seaweed, and that he's kind of pulling all of the way, looks very much like how those are depicted. So immediately, when things are so stylized like that, it pulls you out of the reality, and you're already thinking like these are referencing other things. And so everything escalates really violently between the two of them, until Tommy beats Thomas, almost to death, and Thomas is saying, you're killing me. And so from then on, he is dominating Thomas and leads him out. This is a really great, like, horrifying scene. Leads him out to the hole that they dug to find the crate of alcohol, and forces him into the hole as like a grave, and just starts filling the hole. And the whole time he's filling the hole, Thomas is still, ranting and cursing him, saying, this, you can't do this, and you'll be punished for this, and this, just very. But it's very, the actor Willem Dafoe had to endure a lot, because he's getting, like, just shovels, and hopefully it was something nicer than dirt, but he's getting shovels of what looks like dirt thrown in his face, and he keeps talking, until it covers his face, and he's just smothered by it. But once Tommy does that, and Thomas appears to be, dead in the grave, not talking anymore, he realizes, but the thing that I wanted to do, the thing that he kept from me, kind of this anger that he had, and I guess that's what that is. No, that does make sense. So he goes down into the grave and rifles through Thomas's pockets for the keys, because there is a key to that final gate of the top of the lighthouse. And Tommy, in various scenes, has tried to pick the lock, and he's tried to use a knife to pick the lock, and is just unable to get up there. So that's remained this weird mystery the whole time. So he takes the keys off of the dead body and goes up to the lighthouse. But I think, does this happen before? Yeah, he is going up to the lighthouse with the keys, and then he stops because he realizes he doesn't have a cigarette. I think he doesn't have his matches or a cigarette. Like, there's something that he's missing. So he goes back down, goes back to the cabin, and is attacked by Thomas, who wasn't dead in the grave. So they had chased each other with an axe previously. So now Thomas has that axe that was, like, embedded in a table, and Thomas hits Tommy's shoulder with the axe, like, injures him with the axe, and doesn't kill him, but then he takes the axe and actually finishes off. There's, like, blood splatter and things, so finishes off Thomas. So finally has murdered another person, so has murdered Thomas, and now with his cigarettes or whatever he came down for, he goes back up to the top of the lighthouse, has the key, and unlocks it. And so this may be the Prometheus scene, like this, because it's not clear what exactly he sees or what exactly, because he gets to the top, the light is on, and the one of the glass panels, kind of the lens panels of the giant, bright lamp in the lighthouse, just kind of opens up. And so he looks into that opened panel, and you just get this like blast of white light, and he's just like, he's overcome by this thing. So his mouth is he it's like a screaming expression in his mouth, and the frame is just bright white, washed out, like so his character is almost can't be seen. And there's no, so I'm not sure if that is the point where he's that's the theft of the fire, that's the theft of the power that he's punished for, or if that actually, I'm not sure. But it's left kind of mysterious as like the symbolism of what he's doing. But because they've kind of alluded to him as Prometheus, you see that. And so he comes back down. He falls. I think he actually falls down the entire steps of the lighthouse after being traumatized by that. And so he's injured from the axe attack, and then from that fall, and then whatever happened in the lighthouse. So maybe, ultimately punished. So he sees no, there was no creature up there, but in one of their, in that scene actually where where Tommy sees Thomas as kind of Proteus, as the sea god, there is an image behind Tommy of tentacles, and I think he's grabbed around the neck when they're fighting, and he has that hallucination. He's grabbed around the neck by one of those tentacles, so the tentacle, the kind of that we saw from before. So actually, I guess the tentacle that he saw previously could have been just the tentacle of the god of Proteus, because if it's a half man, half octopus type of god. But he finds nothing in the tower except that light, and and falls from the lighthouse all the way down. And so the final scene is the kind of confirmation of the Prometheus imagery, because you have Tommy's broken body kind of on the rocky beach, and seagulls are pulling him apart. So the last image is kind of it also in a very kind of symbolist painting kind of style, very, very stylized, very kind of beautiful composition. And he's just covered with birds, and the seagulls are pulling out his organs, like pulling out eating his liver, I think is the myth. And so that lines up with the punishment for Prometheus of stealing fire from Zeus, was that he every day would be eaten by birds, like have his liver eaten by birds. But because he was a Titan, and because of the power of Zeus, he would heal every day to be eaten again. So he was like tied out somewhere to be eaten eternally again and again by birds. And so that's the last image you see of Tommy on the beach, kind of reinforcing that kind of myth, that mythical imagery. So really amazing, really. Show. Oh yeah. Right. That's exactly what I thought too. Like Pulp Fiction briefcase thing. Yeah, the flash of the flash of cookie crumbs. That would be much better than dirt up your nose. Yeah. So yeah, similar to the weird hallucinations of Mandy, which were specifically like drug referenced. This has a very dream kind of tone, where it, because of the nightmares, because both of these characters are haunted in ways, and they're trapped in this position. So there's suggestions, like there's readings, like if you want to watching it like multiple times, I think will help to try to solidify certain readings of the movie, because it's definitely possible that that is one man kind of in purgatory. like, one man confined, like the island is the punishment of this character, and the two ages, because they end up both being named Thomas, the two ages of those characters represent, when he was first, when he was first punished for his crime, and the eternity, like he becomes an old man and keeps having to return to this island. And maybe the fact that it's split is he's having to confront, and he confronts himself eternally. He completely, he like, again and again has to kill his older self that, now knows, because of the punishment of purgatory, now has the knowledge of his crime, that, knows what he shouldn't have done. He's kind of cursed himself in old age. So there's a reading where, because they are named that, it might also suggest that they're both actually the same character, or that just the fact that they have the same name, they are guilty of the same crime. They've both killed a coworker just out of, kind of, selfish, hatred and greed. But there's a lot of really good symbolism in the movie, and I think a lot of different inspiration. So I don't think, and similar to The Witch, there's kind of a reading, and there's things that it suggests, but it's not clear. So it allows for kind of associations of different things, because the mythology associations and a lot of the things that come from the outside are used in more of a dream way, and because some of them are introduced as nightmares or hallucinations, it's more of a dream logic of how these things fit together. So more like Jungian, like collective unconscious kind of things. So these are myths and things we know and share. And even if you don't know it, if you can't say, oh, that's Prometheus, or that's Proteus, or that's that's this myth, or that's this image that they were going for, it. Like, it's familiar, and those pieces and that logic kind of in dream ways make sense to you. So the way that he associates those things, because there's things like that in The Witch as well. And The Witch also has that thing where the characters change, and they are thought to be one thing and kind of become another. And this does that same sort of thing, where it suggests something and then it confirms it later on. But yeah. Oh, yeah, K5O is getting late. Yes. See you next week. Have a good week until then. Yeah, I'm keeping people up late with a lot of ranting, but cool. Nice. Oh yeah. God's, yeah, right. Exactly, that's what it is. It's God's lighthouse dick. Yeah, because the fact that the top of it. So also that, and there's some great shots where you rise up through the levels of the lighthouse to the top when they're first introducing the lighthouse. So anything layered like that, where there's a bright top to it. I mean, that like is like, Dante's Inferno, or like the circles of purgatory, like you're the levels of something, and ascension or something divine at the top is really suggested by how they portray that lighthouse. I can't believe they built that lighthouse. So everything on that island they built for the purposes of that film, and I guess it was pretty miserable to actually film there, because you are dealing with the ocean and the wind, and there's some really crazy scenes of wind and waves and rain blasting, which some of them may have actually they might have had to deal with some of that in reality as well. But but really wonderful, well done movie, and I liked it the same way that I liked The Witch. It was just really well crafted and suggested. It was unreliable in its storytelling, so that it kept you very curious about what was going, the fate of the characters and how things happen. And they both have like a resolution. Like, both of those films have this kind of cathartic end, where you see the Tommy character like in his punishment by the the dead souls of sailors. Yeah, you should watch The Witch. Yeah, definitely. It's creepy. It's very tense and creepy, because there's a suggestion of horrible things. Like, there's there's a suggestion of a witch in the woods, and so immediately the family is like, she must be who stole the baby. So there's this tension of those things are going to happen, and the goat is very disturbing, like the way that they put the camera, the goat's eyes and everything. That they make it very disturbing. It's not as much a horror film as more just psychological tension, but nothing. Well, I don't know. I mean, the performances of the kids, because the once they start to blame the older daughter and the witch, the younger children start acting possessed, and you don't know if that's real or not, or what's happening, or if they're just sick because they don't have any food and they're trying to survive winter. So it does that same unreliable thing where, is this a dream, or is this reality, or is this what he's thinking, or did he actually see this? And so it does that same thing where the youngest children start acting possessed and blaming her, and then the family starts to blame her, the older daughter. And so that those scenes are disturbing, because the kids' performances are really great, and you're just like, how could they get children to give these kinds of amazing performances? So the possessed performances of all the kids is pretty disturbing if you're weak to kind of horror film stuff, but it's well done. It's really, really well done. Yum throwing around the F word there. Nice. But yeah, it's good. Yeah, but both of the films are really good stuff, and he definitely is like taking from a bunch of different sources, because I think maybe working on that original Edgar Allan Poe story takes a lot of that kind of horror, that like Telltale Heart kind of tense horror. So you're not seeing anything, you're just thinking, oh my god, there's a body under the floor, feeling the kind of guilt. And so the Lighthouse has that, like, guilt-ridden men, like men haunted by the guilt of murder, and how they kind of interact together. Don't be scared. Yum, scared. Yeah, it's not. I mean, if you watch it with the lights on, don't watch it in the dark. It definitely it'll creep you up, but not. I think like Hereditary is much more terrifying in its with its horror elements than The Witch is. The Witch is just really, it gets really creepy, because you don't know if it's the same way that the two men in the Lighthouse, you don't know what's causing this kind of. Is it just the alcohol? Are they just like getting fucked up because they're drunk all the time and they're like killing their brains drinking this grain alcohol? Or that's right. They run out of. That's a great scene, kind of detail in the story. They run out of alcohol. That's even that case. They are stranded for so long that they make it through that case of alcohol. So then they turn to drinking the kerosene or whatever they are fueling the lighthouse lamp with, so the lamp oil or whatever. They start drinking that. There's a scene where Tommy puts honey or something into the kerosene to make it more palatable. He puts something like wax or something in and tries it, and that's the thing that they show them drinking at the very end, is they're just straight drinking kerosene or like lamp oil, just to stay drunk that whole time. I got you. Yum, you're funny. Yeah, the censor got it, but I put it back in there for you because you're what was it? Because you're dumb and gay. I gave you that F word for free. So really, if you haven't seen it, sounds like a lot of you guys got a chance to see it. But if you haven't seen it, it's really worth it. And even hearing that explanation, and I did it kind of like random and a bit out of order. So, that whole experience of how things break down is really worth going through. And the kind of, claustrophobia of it being that 4x3, what is that? Yeah, 4x3 square frame and black and white. So it does take it out of reality from it not being black and white. And because there's such small confined scenes, they're like in a tiny bedroom together. They're in a tiny, like dining room together. They're and even like the space in the lighthouse is very tight. It really adds to the tension of that scene very well. And then also you don't, I mean, they don't feel like they're on a tiny island in a tiny room doing this very specific tiny job, and it does make it so that they're clashing immediately, and I think that works really well. They basically can't get away from each other. There's nowhere to go. Yeah, that's funny, but yeah, it's great. It's a really great film. I'm glad. Oh, lovely background. I really enjoyed that. It was one of the movies that I wanted to see, and it surprised me a lot. Like the tone of it was much more sinister and like psychological than I thought it would be. I'd seen the trailer and a few suggestions of what was going on, and it was hard to connect because the action, escalates in such crazy ways, chasing each other with axes and things. I didn't know how that could possibly fit together, so I wasn't sure. But pretty sure it was like going to be a character-driven performance because it's only two actors, but really good. And also, they don't do their accents aren't crazy so that you can't understand them. It's very understandable. Like you wouldn't need subtitles, even if you're like a non-native speaker, you wouldn't need subtitles for it because they deliver their lines really clearly, really well. And Willem Dafoe, stays in his spill your beans kind of sailor's accent the whole time. But but really good stuff and good, rich, confusing, open to interpretation story that takes you on a really crazy a crazy clash between two characters. And I like that when you have this weird dynamic, especially with male characters, because they're just going to use their physicality, or they're going to trust, or they're going to want to, they're big and obvious. And so when the dynamics shift back and forth, it's really interesting because the you have, when it's an older man, younger man, you have a father son or teacher student dynamic, but then you have a younger man that's probably stronger than an older man, physically has more ability to physically overpower him. So when those dynamics change, it's really interesting. And I like that with the films with, just only male casts, is you can really focus on that kind of thing. And so then the whole movie, because it's basically takes place right next to a big phallus, is very male centered and male based. And so, kind of the failures and cowardice and crimes of men. So it's good. I'm so happy to have seen two very male-based films, because, looking at Netflix, you don't think like there's anything left in the world like that. Yeah, Willem Dafoe's performance was great. It's crazy how you've seen him so many times in so many different roles, and he can just become something completely else. Like if you remember his character in Wild at Heart, he had a really crazy name, but had the weird little tiny teeth. And his super creepy character in that film, like it is Willem Dafoe, but you like completely forget, like he can really inhabit these weird roles and create a personality. Even when you're looking at such a familiar actor, you've seen him do so many different roles and so many different things, he's totally transformed. And in this movie, the same. He really he does a good job. But both of them put in really, I can't believe only 7.5 on IMDb. That's depressing. But and maybe just because there's no like clear interpretation, that might frustrate a lot of people watching. It's like, what the hell did I just watch, kind of thing, instead of enjoying the experience of it and the imagery and how that story was told. It's just like, what happened? What was in the lighthouse? Okay, I don't have an answer. So, 1 star. I think there's a lot of people that get frustrated, in that way. But so that was The Lighthouse. Wow. So if you haven't seen it, definitely see it. And it's worth watching again because there's a lot of imagery in there. Just those details of him with the match. It's like, why is he always, in the rain, in the flooded house, he can always light a match. He's always able to make fire. And what is that? And now birds are pecking his liver out. Okay. I see what you did. It's good stuff. Yeah, right. I'm not watching. I already tried to make it through Captain Marvel. Uh, that would it could have been a good story about a woman empowered. Captain Marvel could have been, but it was just so poorly handled and poorly written, and just like, yeah, instead of being a hero, she was a woman overcoming something, her humanity. I don't know. Yeah, Captain Marvel. Oh, and Brie Larson doesn't make that easy to watch either. But yeah, so next week, let's do the Snyder Cut if you guys are able to access that. If you've already seen the Justice League on streaming or something, yeah, you'll know that story. So I'll just kind of tell you what was different, I guess, if you really want to know. But yeah, let's do the Snyder Cut for next week, because that's something I really want to watch, and it's 4 hours long, so I don't think I'm gonna have time to see a lot of what else. Yes, and they played that No Doubt song. Yeah, because yeah, that was so brutal. It's so funny when they could successfully tell a story, like, I don't know, like, if they could make Black Panther work, why can't they make Captain Marvel work? As the, yeah, it's very odd. Yeah, I just think, yeah, and having that character, like, that is the most powerful character in the Marvel universe, according to what they've set up so far. And what a bad choice! Like, they're stuck with her. Mm. But DC, it'll be DC for next week. The DCU, the DCEU, DCCU. I don't know what they got. Yeah, the cinematic universe of Superman and all that. Yeah. uh, yeah. But let's do that then. So it's going to be a lot less arty, but it's something I'm really curious about, and it'll be fun. I'll try to read about a little bit of background, like why it actually happened, like the same way that the Donner cut for Superman 2, like, the politics and the studio stuff. I'll try to read as much as I can about why the Snyder cut happened, because remember, that was a hashtag right away after it failed and was like kind of just, crapped out at a weird time, kind of in an unfinished state. The first Justice League movie, immediately the release the Snyder cut hashtag, people were frustrated because they thought it could be so much better. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, is that good? Yeah, so Justice League. So yeah, I'm gonna watch on HBO Now, whatever their HBO Plus, whatever it is, their streaming service. I'll watch the Snyder Cut 4 hour thing for next week, and we'll talk a little bit about that, and we'll see kind of like what they did, and we can even do. I'm sure people are already doing that kind of side by side comparisons of kind of what they changed. Yeah, so take a look at, if you get time before next week, take a look at Justice League. If you have HBO Plus, HBO Now, I forget what it's called, but if you have the HBO service, that's where it's premiering. But it's 4 hours, just to warn you. It's 4 hours of probably not a great movie, a stupid superhero movie. So it'll be less symbolism and film school talk, and more more like what's wrong with Hollywood and why would they even do this kind of talk. But it's also like the fact that they would, budget, come up with a budget to remake a film, to do like a huge director's cut re-release of a movie straight to a streaming platform. That's really weird. Like, we're in some really weird times, because I don't think that would have actually happened. Okay, stay legal, Yum. With that, yeah, I'm sure it's going to be all over. That's the other weird thing that I don't think the studios have thought out. Like, once movie theaters were shut down for health reasons, I don't think they realized if you're going to go directly to streaming, you're also going to be going directly to, it's digital, so it's going to be going directly to the entire world, out of control, whether you like it or not, by illegal means, and there's no way to stop that. because they'll find a way around any sort of security measures you could possibly come up with streaming. Someone will figure out a way to bypass it and have some weird, rig configured, or a weird way that they're going to actually try to pull files directly. So yeah, you're never going to be able to control that. A movie theater you can control. You can control who physically comes in and out of that room where you're projecting it. You can't control if they're holding a camera or not. But yeah, so it's really weird that they're going to take a huge loss doing things only through streaming services, and then plus it's just going to go everywhere. It'll be in the wild. The day it releases on streaming, it'll be out there in the wild. Yeah. Yeah. 4 hours. 4 hours of DC comic goodness. Now, I'm curious. The thing I'm most curious about is what the color grading is going to do, because they said that one of the weirdest things about that Justice League movie is it was shot and the costumes were designed to fit that kind of gritty, dark color grading that like Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman and those movies had, where you saw the colors, what the colors should be for the superheroes, but they're really muted and real grungy looking. So if the Zack Snyder film is going to look back like that, we're going to see like what they originally intended for that footage to look like. And if that works, if that like has a better tone than that weird kind of saturation that they did, because when they shot it that certain way, and then when Joss Whedon took it over and they turned it up in saturation, it made things look really fake and cheesy and weird, because it wasn't designed to do that. So yeah. It's actually 4 hours. Yes, it is. Yeah, they said originally they were going to release it in parts, like 1 hour segments, like over 4 weeks or whatever. But I guess they scrapped that because people might not even make it to the 4th hour if they try to drag it out. But yeah, so it's a 4 hour. The other one though, I think, was 3 hours. I think the original was pretty long. Oh no, that's right. It was just at 2 hours. They forced them to cut it down. That's right. It was part of the other kind of screw over that the executives that were all leaving Warner Brothers. That was the politics of that film really sucked. But yeah, they forced it to be 2 hours. So yeah, it was like double. Double. Yeah. No, I think that's right. I think it might have been a better way to do it, but maybe the reason they gave up on it is because they couldn't make each hour arc very well. Maybe just kind of like if they stopped it at an hour so that each segment was an hour long, maybe it didn't feel very good, because you kind of got stuck in these like weird half scenes or anything. You can't, because you can tell, like when they do those documentary series and stuff, they set up each episode or each hour to kind of have a narrative curve of something, some sort of development, and then leave you with a cliffhanger to make you want to see what happens next. And I don't think they could have done that with Justice League. That might be why they gave that up. But I don't know. Who knows what they're thinking for most of this. But that'll do it. That will be The Lighthouse. A long, rambling explanation of what I think I saw when I watched The Lighthouse. But yeah, it's definitely worth watching again. That's something, I just watched it on Amazon, but I think I want to get the Blu-ray of this because I really want to see this again. And I'd like to hear a commentary, or at least see some behind the scenes of how they filmed it, because it's really beautiful. And it puts you right in that time, that super low technology. Like, yeah, they don't come... There's no radio. There's nothing to check on. You just are stuck on this island until they come to get you. That's really that adds that desperation to the setting. Just like with The Witch, the surviving the winter kind of thing. All right. Yeah. So well, great. Well, thanks for everyone that hung in there, and I hope K5 got some sleep. It didn't keep him up too late. But yeah, so a weird one, a weird one for next week. Let's watch the Snyder cut if it's available to you. in whatever means necessary. But yeah, let's just talk about that. And I think I have a friend that we were at Taco Bell talking. Oh yeah, John. No, John was on the stream last time. Yeah, John and I think are gonna do a podcast of kind of reactions. So I don't know if we'll record that before next week, before next live stream or not. But yeah, we'll do a little discussion of what's going on. John's got some great theories about what's up with Zack Snyder. So yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they couldn't release it in theaters. That's very true. Or they would have had to do like the two-parter thing, like part one, part two, like Harry Potter or Twilight, like the last Twilight. So maybe that's impossible to market. It would have had to be like they would have had to release it like in very special situations because you'd only show it twice a day. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, definitely do stuff while you watch it. Don't. It's not something that will demand your attention. I'm sure you'll just want to look up and see. Oh yeah, that doesn't look like the previous one. But yeah, even if you haven't seen the the original Justice League theatrical release, that's probably good enough to watch because I'll just basically talk about the differences. Yeah, so there won't be so much interesting talk about the content of the film, but it'll be fun to just talk about how weird this is that they would do something like it. Tipsy Yum. What are you drinking, Yum? I don't think I missed that in the chat. What you were drinking, but all right. No, John and I will record something maybe separately, so I'll refer you guys to that once we get that done. But yeah, we talked about both watching the Snyder Cut and doing a little podcast kind of discussion of it. So I probably should watch the original as well, so I can remember some specific comparisons. All right. Yeah. Oh, that would be great. No, John from the that was on in the chat last week. Yeah, I think last week when we talked about Mandy. Yeah, John showed up, so he's here in Japan too. So we get together occasionally for some Taco Bell and sometimes for some tabletop game stuff. But yeah, that'd be great. Hyphonics, Hyphonics Justice League. That would be awesome. All right. But yeah, so that'll do it for this week. Thank you for hanging in there and enjoying the end of your St. Patrick's Day. Is it the beginning or the end? Maybe the end. So I'll be back next week with some Snyder Cut Justice League. Oh yeah. No, that would be fun. Yeah, that might be fun. And I might maybe even get him to dial in on... I'm not sure what his schedule is, though, because I'm doing this kind of in the middle of the day. So if he's going to be at work already... Yeah, but we can change the day of the week. But excellent. Yeah, I definitely couldn't handle Hyphonics chat. There are not enough blue wrenches in the world that would probably get me through a live stream. Oh, man. Cool. But yeah, everybody take care, and I will see you next week. Yeah, thanks for hanging in there through all the movie discussion. And yeah, go watch The Lighthouse again. I think it's there's a lot in there, so it'll be fun. You'll notice stuff that you hadn't seen before, and it's a great experience. Okay, next week with the Snyder Cut. Thank you so much for for watching, and abusecartoons.com is the website, and follow on Twitter at abusecartoons, and there's also a Facebook page and a Patreon. So go to patreon.com/abusecartoons if you want to support the cartoon and this live stream, and also if you'd like to read the archive of the cartoon that I draw, it's gocomics.com/domestic abuse. See everybody next week. Take care. Have another drink. Have a nightcap, Yum, and we'll see you. See everybody next week. So take care, be safe, and I'll be with you again shortly. Goodbye.